It helps when you add yourself to the stream. Anyways, hey guys, gals, everybody. Sorry I ran a little bit late. Of course, when you do the 8 o'clock stream, you run into technical difficulties at the last possible second and have to restart your computer. But that's life. So Emily's not here. Emily's doing family stuff. She's now shifted to her Tuesday, Thursday schedule for the fall. But in honor of Emily, lights are glowing nice and purple. I was trying to do something cool with like a snap filter to give myself purple hair, but the restart kind of killed that idea, unfortunately. So anyways, let's talk about this week because a whole lot happened. And honestly, I thought one of the cool things to do would be to start with someone that kind of insulted one of our favorite Canadians. So let's see if we can pull up Miss 10 Barge. Those of you who know Cat 10 Barge or know of Cat 10 Barge probably know a little bit about what I'm talking about here. So let's see if I can pull this off because tech issues are always fun. Share screen. Let's share the tab. Let's see what Miss 10 Barge has to say. So Cat 10 Barge on Twitter today. For some of you who have been following or have not been following, Ms. 10 Barge has been covering the Depp v. Heard stuff very carefully and actually has rather strong opinions about it in favor of one of the parties as opposed to all of them. And ever since the release of the unsealed documents, there's been I'm going to call it a shift, attempt to change the narrative here. And she has taken that opportunity to write article for NBC News, write an article for everybody else. Yeah, you can see here, look, Johnny Depp fans in shambles. I kid you not, trying to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's kind of the content that Cat seems to enjoy engaging in. Now, how does Cat 10 Barge enter the equation when we're talking about our little community on here? Let me see. Because she came out rather opinionated in this particular comment right here. What she did was, I don't know if you guys caught it, but I did a video with Spidey on Eric Hunley's channel yesterday, and he kind of ambushed us. He said, I want you to take a look at 2 interviews in the Marilyn Manson case. And he took a look at those interviews, and he said, come into it fresh. So we took a look at the interviews, and they were allegations of the conduct that Marilyn Manson is alleged to have engaged in. If you guys don't know already, there are 4 lawsuits that are pending against Marilyn Manson filed by 4 separate accusers in California. And these 2 individuals that we were watching were 2 of the accusers. So I came into this really carefully, really fresh. A lot of you guys commented that I was looking really serious because the allegations are serious. And I didn't want to kind of listen to the words and look what I was seeing and jump to any conclusions at all, especially because I haven't read anything about this case. I know almost nothing about this case, except for, from like 5,000 feet up in the air looking down. Only the allegations exist, and there's questions as to some of the allegations. So Spidey and I are halfway through, and we finish our kind of analysis or taking a look at some of the interviews. And then Eric decides to drop on us that he had text message exchanges that were Twitter or Instagram DMs on one of the individuals that basically seemed to suggest that that person was lying, knew they were lying. And I'm saying that suggests. I don't know if they're authentic or not. I'm just saying they suggested that. So that video got reposted and ends up in front of Ms. 10 Barge. Ms. 10 Barge, instead of taking the approach of looking at maybe a lawyer that was analyzing this with some of the comments that were made, Ms. 10 Barge instead decides that what she wants to do is she wants to basically say, look, we did a body language analysis and it was pseudoscience. She left out the entire part where I was kind of looking at the elements that they were trying to allege and breaking down why it seemed like what they were saying didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So why does this come back up into the equation? Well, because Kat decides that she wants to do this. I really wish Emily was here because then she could say what in the fuckery is going on. People on YouTube and TikTok are basically reimagining these, or forgot a letter there, Cat. These age-old snake oil salesman techniques for the digital age, and what's alarming is that people sincerely believe them and give them money. Let that hang there for a second. She basically was implying or intimating that Spidey, body language analyst and a therapist, and me, trial attorney, giving analysis on a YouTube channel, was a pseudoscience and also snake oil salesman. She forgot the fact that we watched the trial. Well, I watched the trial, the entire Johnny Depp trial from start to finish. And that I was very clear from the beginning that Johnny Depp's legal case was very difficult to prove, and I didn't see how he was going to do it. And then that kind of changed when I saw Amber Heard take the stand. I mean, there were witnesses favorable to both, but then Amber Heard took the stand, and that kind of changed, to be honest, all of our perspectives. I mean, even Rick Hogue, who I hope you guys follow. If you don't, you should check his channel out. Who came into this blind without any information, was saying, this is really hard for Depp. I don't see how this works. And then by the time Amber Heard was testifying, he was it was kind of sad. It was like watching him deteriorate into actual reality and sadness, because he was realizing that, oh my gosh, this really is the case that it was made out to be. So ever since the release of these unsealed documents, Cat 10 Barge has been one of the individuals. Mind you, this person writes for NBC News. She is a mainstream media author, journalist is what she calls herself. I say calls herself because she didn't do any of the primary source research to determine whether or not the people that were making comments happen to be attorneys. So good for you, Cat. Now, why am I mentioning our favorite Canadian? Because our favorite Canadian, Mr. Runkle of the Bailey, he got rather animated. If you guys don't follow Ian on Twitter, you kind of need to, because Ian on Twitter is one of the funniest people I have ever run across. Every ounce of cynicism and sarcasm that you could possibly imagine is then just what you would imagine it to be. He comes out swinging really hard. And the sarcasm and snark is 100% there. This is Ian's. Ian, I thought you worked. Like, look at all these tweets. How do you do this? How do you do this? So many tweets. So many tweets. Oh, Ian, sometimes you have to let him. Oh, and there's a Dungeons and Dragons tweet. So you've got a mix of Dungeons and Dragons and then picking legal fights. This is freaking Runkle to a T. Ian, what am I going to do with you? Arby says, kiss my butt. No, I like that one. That's pretty good. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Ian gets in a back and forth with Cat. This is great. Here, this is good. This is the stuff we came for. This is the stuff that I wanted to start the day with, because honestly, watching this drama unfold and me not being a part of it was kind of fun thing to engage in, to see this from afar and not be lumped in, even though I was tagged in a bunch of these. Don't know why. I didn't engage all day. I was trial prepping. And yeah, WD Prescott, he was playing 2 video games. Tweeting is nothing. It's like breathing. I'm pretty sure he was probably playing 2 video games, listening to something, writing a brief, and also simultaneously tweeting at Cat 10 Barge. So this is part of the Twitter thread that occurred that both Hogue, myself, and other people have commented on, where she was tweeting out and basically saying in this Twitter thread that believe mainstream media, even though you see our comments on a Twitter thread, if you're, you can either believe the right side, which is the narrative that I'm giving you about Amber Heard, or you can believe the other side, which is the YouTube people being lumped into one category, completely minimizing or dismissing the part that both Emily, Ian, Hogue, me, all the other people that were attorneys on YouTube that covered this trial might have a bit of experience in this. So this one I like the most. So they got it from YouTubers. Many of whom lied to them. Now I've seen readers who used to trust me confused about why I ended up reaching the opposite conclusion. And I sympathize with that. They needed a neutral voice before this trial, not after they made up their minds. You guys, where do we want to start with that? How do you want to unpack that one? Do we want to start about the before the trial, not after they made up their minds, which suggests maybe Kat, maybe you could have joined in and observed the trial while it was going on at any point in time? Maybe the fact that you're admitting right here that you only looked at the trial after it occurred, and that essentially by the time you looked at the trial after it occurred, you realized that the people had reached a conclusion that was different from yours. And because it's a different conclusion from yours, it must be because they were confused and they were wrong. Or it's because they got it from YouTubers, many of whom lied to them. I'm not really sure, but that sounds to me exactly like a statement that intimates that Emily D. Baker, Richard Hogue, Ian Runkle, a leader from Legal Bites, Nick Rekieta, Nate the lawyer, myself. Who else we want to go down on this list? Kurt from Uncivil Law. Basically, every single attorney that was a practicing attorney and a trained lawyer somehow lied to the public. That's a pretty bold assertion. And what does she bring to the table to prove it? Nothing. She never brings anything to the table. And she actually doesn't do any background prior to doing this. She just engages in this crap. Horrible crap. I mean, I can't even believe it. And then here we go. I won't even. So then Smudgeproof. Thank you, Smudgeproof, whoever you are. Emily Baker's plan was to be a prosecutor, blah, blah, blah. Somehow they were lying. How could they be blind? I'm assuming Lumber Law, actively working as a lawyer, also has a nefarious plan. And so does Runkle, who lives in the same country as Smudgeproof, who apparently lives in Canada. And then Kat, in direct response to references to Ian, me, and Emily D. Baker. Oh, honey. We've been down this road before. I want out of this case. I don't want to cover it anymore. I'm done. The reason why is jury reached the conclusion. The jury reached the conclusion. They heard all the evidence to reach the conclusion. And the thing is, the unsealing of documents that existed while the trial was going on that formed the foundation for the judge's ruling doesn't change the fact the judge made the ruling, and doesn't change the fact that a jury reached the conclusion they did, which was to find both of them liable for certain elements of defamation. But no, now that the unsealed documents are there, certain individuals, not to name names, Captain Barge, want to relitigate this all over again, not via the parties. That's the thing. They don't want to relitigate this via the parties. They don't want the parties to relitigate this case. They want to relitigate this case. They want to take their perceptions of the case and then retry it in the court of public opinion. Screw a jury. We don't need them. Why would we need a jury? We, the public, as persuaded by mainstream media and YouTube, can make all the decisions we need to. It's the whole idea. And I'm sorry for going on a little bit of a tangent here. And I didn't want to do this. It's the whole notion that now that a decision contrary to what she believed should have been reached, now that that decision has been made, she needs to reinsert herself. And I'm not limiting this to her. I'm really not. And I'll tell you about what happened at the end of my Tuesday live stream. She needs to basically reinsert herself and say, you guys made the wrong decision and here's why, and I want to go back through and relitigate all of this in front of you. Not only that, but every point that she's making here is about the public and not the jury. It's not just the public that she's referring to. She's referring to the jury. Somehow she's implying or intimating that the jury was persuaded by the people on YouTube. Pretty sure the jury didn't see us. Pretty sure I didn't talk to any of the jury members. Pretty sure I was in the courtroom and saw them. That's another thing she kind of forgot to mention about any of that, is that Ian was in the courtroom for several days of trial, that Scott, who also responds in this thread, was in the courtroom for every day of this trial, that I was in the courtroom for a few days of this trial, that DUI guy was in the courtroom for a few days of this trial, that Joe Neerman was in the courtroom for a day of this trial. Basically, she essentially suggests that the public got it wrong, and the public is more important than the jury who made the decision. Right. And then right there, 6 hours ago, Kat says close, but not quite. They, directly referring to Ian Runkle, myself, and Emily D. Baker. So let's just substitute that. Emily D. Baker, Rob, and Ian let you make up your minds first, and then they provided an argument that fits your preconceived bias. Ta-da! Anyone else see a problem with that? Pretty sure I do. Because I wasn't really listening to you guys. I was just giving analysis. And I'm pretty sure that I jumped into this case to provide clarification. Actually, I mean, hell, I wasn't on social media. I wasn't on YouTube at the beginning of this case. I don't even know what I'm doing here. No, I like being here because you guys are actually really nice. But yeah, to suggest that Emily D. Baker, badass prosecutor, was a pawn of a popular narrative. Pretty sure that Emily's entire shtick, and I don't mean shtick that way. I mean, I'm pretty sure Emily's entire persona is that she will not be swayed by anybody. She makes her decisions based on what she sees. Isn't it facts, not fuckery? Pretty sure that's what it is. And then there's Ian. And if you guys haven't seen Ian on Twitter, then you guys definitely don't know that Ian cannot be swayed by public opinion. He has his decisions in his mind made up based on the facts and the evidence. And there's me. I'm a stubborn SOB. Some of you guys probably know that. And I get mad when I see statements. When I get mad when I see statements from anybody. But when someone goes in there, and you guys, the title of Tuesday's stream was Media Stop Putting Words in My Mouth. And this is exactly what I was freaking talking about. And I'm sorry for the monotone language. So she has just put words in my mouth and saying that I let you guys make up your minds and then I provided an argument that fits your bias. I don't know. Doesn't sound accurate to me. Sounds like fuckery. And yes, I'm going to throw a lot of Emily buzzwords in today because I feel like you guys need to hear it and you need to feel it. So, Kat, honey, you are still so wrong. Ian comes in properly and says, I started with the conclusion that was 100% certain to lose and changed my mind as a result of the progress of the trial. Who's lying now? Kat thinking he's going to, Kat gets into it with him. Thinking he's going to lose does not equate to thinking he's a victim. No, we didn't say that. I don't think Ian even intimated that. You following, and then she responds to herself. Cool. You following what your audience wanted to tremendous profit and applause. Forgive me if I question the economic dynamics that impacted your conclusions. You mean the economic dynamics of being paid by a salaried media reporter and journalist? You mean those economic dynamics where you are quite literally paid to find salacious stories and publish news media and articles about them? You mean that economic benefit? The economic benefit that comes from speaking to an audience and connecting with an audience? That economic benefit? So there's just a bit of hypocrisy in there. And then I love what Ian does here. This is my favorite. This is why I love Runkle. This is, truly amazing. What I followed was the truth, and with integrity. At times I was attacked for pointing out which parts of the trial where places heard was doing well at. Your argument is simply, you made money, but you can't identify a single supposed lie. How about this, Cat Den Barge? I'll tell you about my contacts with the Dep Herd teams or their PR agents and affiliates if you tell me about all of NBC's contacts with the same, because my list is real short. I'm guessing yours is a wee bit longer. I love the fact that he can give that mic drop on there. Yeah. Yeah. Get him, Ian. Freaking get him. So that was how the day went. And that was kind of where we started with all this. Yeah. You guys, I want out of this case. I don't want to deal with this anymore. The jury decided. The jury decided. Why are we relitigating things that a jury decided? Why are we going down this road again? We think the jury got it wrong. Good. State your opinion. Move on. She's going to win an appeal. Okay, wait for the briefs. Briefs are going to come out sometime mid-September. We'll take a look at it then. Actually, I am interested to take a look at that. When I say I'm putting this trial behind me, I'm putting the trial behind me. There's going to be some interesting arguments in the appeal. I don't think a lot of them have any real chance of winning. I think I'm kind of in line with a bunch of my colleagues on here in that regard. So, hey, I've got an idea. Let's talk about something fun. Yeah, let's talk about something fun. So I have something to build, and I want to show you guys what I have to build. And I hope you guys like it. Well, I've built two before. I think I've built two before. Let me see if I can find the one that I did build. Maybe I can show it so you guys can take a look at it. Let me do the share screen again. There. Yeah. So I have to build two more of these desks. Oh my God, my shop. And my shop looks nothing like that right now. This is a little while ago. I have to build two of these desks. They're really cute. They're desks that I make for my nieces and nephews. I make certain things as the kids get older. When they turn 2, they get little kids Adirondack chairs. When they turn 5, they get a desk. When they turn 1, they get a little picnic table. So I've got 2 nieces and nephews that are now hitting 5. And the problem with that is that now at the age of 4 and 4.5, after they've seen their siblings get these desks at the age of 5, they now know it and they expect it 100%. So they start asking about it, and they start asking about the color for their desk and what their desk is going to look like and what they can put on it. So it puts a good deal of pressure on Uncle Rob because now I have to batch these things out in a relative speedy fashion. And let's see if I think I've got another one of these. Let me see if I've got another picture. So there's the desk, little platform, little cute things on it. Yeah, they're fun. So let's talk about how we make them. And I know that this is boring for some of you, but this is, we're going to talk law. We're going to talk the stuff that happened this week, but we're going to go back and forth. We're going to do happy, fun stuff, and we're going to do annoying stuff because it's Friday night. I know you guys want to rehash some of the drama. We're going to get there. I started with drama. Segment 1, drama. Segment 2, cute desk. So that's how we build it. That's the desk. And for those of you who are commenting yes, when I have to make a bunch of these things, I do sometimes either buy or modify plans. This is a set of plans that I've used, and I don't ever sell these desks, so I'm not really concerned about any infringement on someone else's property rights. But so that's the desk I've got to make. That's a lot of cuts, guys. That's a lot of cuts, and it's a lot of paint, and it's a lot of stuff. But they're fun. And I've got an idea for how I'm going to make it. Let's see here. So that's how it starts. I got to buy all of these different pieces of wood. Then I got to cut all the little strips out of the pieces of wood. And then I have to go back and I have to cut them into these little distinct pieces. And I have to paint them along the way. Then I have to screw them and get them back into place. And then I've got to assemble everything and make sure it's all aligned. And then I have to make the really cute designs. It is a process. The fastest I've ever made one of these, I got all the pieces cut in like a day. And then the next time was I got the painting done the next day. Then I had to decorate the thing the final day. But yeah, that's how the desk gets made. Now, I have an idea. Oh, I love ideas. Ideas are fun sometimes. But the problem is because I'm an idiot and because I had tech issues, I was totally planning and actually had the photos up. I was totally planning on showing you guys how I was planning on trying to do a little hack on making this. Because some of you guys have asked questions, and I like the questions. I love the questions because the questions are really good. And I told you guys that a new friend came and joined me in the shop, and the new friend being a device, an implement of creation, not destruction. And let's see if we can pull it up. Share screen. Sharing that screen. Yep. And yep, Ziggy Sawdust is down there. So is me golfing, and so is me with Nathan the Bruin. Good thing. I only have good photos in there. This is a CNC. What is a CNC? Well, a CNC is a machine that quite literally takes a device and executes a program with proficiency. It moves left, right, up, down, backwards, forwards. And that little thing on it, the yellow thing that's on it that's suspended, is a router. It's not a router that conveys internet from somebody else to you. It is a router that goes and carves things. You put a bit in it and you go ahead and you lay it down, and you set it on to a program. And then as the program is running, it goes and it carves things out of it. Well, how does it work? Whoop, that's PGA. We'll get there in a second. Yeah, I was really proud of it. Oh, and then the naming contest, the number of you who asked me to call this thing Elaine, like actively asked me to call this thing Elaine. And then pretty much I came to the conclusion, no, I'm not calling it Elaine, because every time it stops working, I'm going to just be yelling at it, Elaine. Yeah, you guys are trying to traumatize me, but I did name it. And it is Cynthia Rose. I feel it's a good name. It's a solid name. Cynthia Rose. Cynthia for CNC, Rose for the router. So, but we're going to call her Rosie. So Rosie is going to help me make this thing, at least in theory. And let me show you how. So Rosie's going to help me make this because this is how I program the CNC. So you can put in the metrics in here and you can put in all the data. So all that little part list that I showed you guys before, we're going to cross fingers. We're really going to cross fingers because I don't know if I'm going to get it. But the parts list, I should be able to put a piece of wood on this machine, program the parts into it, and then press a stupid button, and it should cut it all out. And I should be able to walk away and then come back a few hours later, and then all of a sudden, I will hopefully have parts. Or I will have several shredded pieces of wood and things that have flown across the room and a big mess to clean up. It's going to go one of two ways. And we're going to find out. So it's either going to be a lot of wine to celebrate or a lot of wine to cry. I wonder how it's going to turn out. But the concept is we're going to get this thing going so I can start making the dining table that I have to make within the next week. All right. So we don't get too far behind, I am going to figure out how to do buttons. There's buttons. And let's catch up on super chats, and then we're going to go to the next part of our discussion. Next part of our discussion is going to be lawsuits, new lawsuits, fun lawsuits. All right. Janelle, you guys, thank you. Thank you for the very, very generous super chat. I've never done a Friday night stream before. It's a weird thing for me. I like it. When you jump in as a guest, it's really easy because you don't have to, not that you don't have to think. There's just a lot less buttons and a lot fewer things you actually have to execute. And plus, dead space is filled by other people, so you don't have to talk all the time. But yeah, thank you very, very much, Janelle. And for the chat, for you guys who don't know, purple is actually my favorite color. If you don't believe me, I have like 9 million purple ties, and I always wear purple. So that's why I think it does suit me. I love it. Luke Pearson, as a bankruptcy lawyer, have you reviewed AJ's filing? It seems like a lot of money is owed to himself. It's a sensitive subject, and actually, honestly, the bankruptcy side of it is something that I had hoped to cover. If you guys are okay with that topic, I am not going into any of the defamation allegations, any of that junk. But if you guys are curious about that topic, and you want me to pull up that bankruptcy filing, I can probably pull it up and walk you guys through it, because there's a lot of confusion here about what it actually means. The entity is what filed bankruptcy, not Alex Jones himself. The entity filed bankruptcy, and the entity actually was admitting or allowing the claim to be adjudicated all the way through to finality. And yes, I did see the news report today that the jury awarded punitive damages. So the judge had previously awarded, I think it was $4 million in actual monetary damages, and the jury was allowed to award punitive damages. And I think the punitive damages award was $45 million. I do not know if there is any automatic or required downward departure from that. I just saw the headline go across, so I don't know how that's going to be handled. But the company is a separate and distinct entity from Alex Jones himself. If you guys want me to try and pull that up at any point, you know what? Let me see if I can actually do this, because it shouldn't be that hard. I say that. Oh man, I should not have said that. Why did I say that? It shouldn't be that hard, Rob. It shouldn't be that hard, Rob. Of course it's not going to be that hard. Why would it be that hard? Because it's going to be that hard. Because Rob's going to do this. Nope. Nope. It's not how you do it. Nope. You know what? We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. If you guys are comfortable with that topic and you want me to cover that topic, bankruptcy only, I'm not going into the allegations themselves. I do not want to do that. I don't know the case. I don't want to touch the case. It is way too emotionally sensitive for me or for my liking. I don't like it. I haven't covered it. You can find that content elsewhere. If you want me to cover the bankruptcy itself, drop some ones in the chat. If you would rather me move on, drop some twos. And I can just completely bypass that and we'll just move along with regular scheduled programming. So back to that one. So yeah, we'll see that. Clever nickname. The maple syrup gives Ian superpower. It obviously does. It's running through his blood and running through his body. Apple Pie, thank you for the super chat. I can't sleep because the missile sirens can go off any minute. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know where you are. Oh, are we in the Middle East right now? I did see something on that one. I'm very sorry. But I'm glad that you're here. Hopefully we can take your mind off of that for a little bit. Mandy Stevens, thank you for the super chat. I watched the trial for myself and appreciate the information from lawyers who explained the law. Jury just watched the trial and came to the same conclusion. I agree. Thank you for that. T in Tennessee, did you see her comment about around behavior analysis? Yes, and how it was a pseudoscience and not a real thing. I did see that. What she forgot was that we weren't just doing behavior analysis. We were actually looking at the statements themselves, and just working through that. So yeah, she is a special person. Jean Clark, thank you very much. Maybe ignoring them like trolls would be best revenge. I have been trying to do that. As you guys will see, Ian was jumping in on it. I have taken the advice of several of you and basically said, say what you will about me. I'm not going to respond to it, because nothing I say to you on Twitter is going to change your mind one way or the other. That's the big problem that I have, is that you engage on Twitter and you somehow think that you're going to change the mind of the individuals that are there. So, Married to the Sea, question for the random Q. I recently started dating a lawyer, and he works so much. I want it to work. He is great. Any advice would be appreciated. Let me think about that, Married to the Sea. I'm going to come right back to it. I'm not dismissing it. I'm going to come back to it. But let me think about it while we work through this one. Waltzing Matilda, thank you for the super chat. I promise not to mention it again, but if/when you're ready, can you read the message I sent you on Instagram? Norman's mom, you really helped me, and I'd love to know about I'd love for you to know about it because I'm so grateful. I have read a lot of them. I will go back and read those. And actually, to those of you who do send those DMs, I do get to those. I get anxiety when I see like the bubble go up to like 20. And I want to make sure that when I just open it, I'm not just opening it and ignoring it. I want to be able to have that time to respond because I think it's important to actually get that response. So I will go back and read that. I have some time this weekend to take a look at that stuff. So I'll take a look at it. But I'm just really glad that whatever one of us did on here helped you out in any fashion. Lynn, oh, someone used the member chat, the Ziggy. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, Kat, some advice for you. Better to be silent and thought a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt. Uh-huh. Yep. Vintage Willow, but can you say Elaine? I can't do it the way she does, the way Emily does, but I can try. Mostly whenever I hear Elaine or hear the voice, I just kind of nod my head and just go, oh my God, I don't want to do it anymore. Because that's what she does. And if anyone drops a what if any. T in Tennessee, I did start listening through the trial, but that is not why I keep watching. Thank you, T in Tennessee. I hope that's in reference to us. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Jane Zanis, thank you for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. K-Rap, thank you for the super chat. Her words are rather ironic considering that when she was challenged on her takes of the release doc, she stated she hadn't read a single doc. She heard the tidbits here and there. I didn't catch that part. Maybe don't offer opinions on things you haven't checked. Just an idea. You know, the whole putting a label next to your name saying journalist means that you actually have to do some research before you run a publication on something. And we covered that on Tuesday with regard to journalists, and that you can't just go and piggyback off the work of other journalists. You actually have to go and check your primary source material. But yep. Brentwood Cheek, thank you very much for the super chat. All of LawTube was unbiased until Elaine and AH proved themselves unworthy. I tend to agree. Jay Thompson, did you even know Runkle or most of these lawyers before the depth you heard trial? Nope, not at all. I had seen them in the coverage of the Rittenhouse trial. And like you guys, I just kind of watched, and this trial kind of brought me to the forefront where I was watching. And for those of you who don't know how I got involved in this trial or how I ended up on YouTube, it's kind of an interesting story. So I saw the trial go on, and on day one, everyone on LawTube, all the guys were there, guys, gals, whoever, they were commenting. They were being really critical of Judge Ascarati. They were saying, why is she not sustaining these objections? Why is she sustaining the ones that don't make sense? And I was kind of yelling at my screen loud enough that I finally sent a DM to Alita and to Nick. And I was like, you guys need to take it easy on Judge A. It's not how she operates. I've been in that courtroom. I know that she operates with what you give her. If you give her a good foundation for an objection, she will sustain the objection. You just have to argue persuasively. Well, I sent that DM, and then all of a sudden, both of them sent back a message saying, hey, if you ever want to pop on. Well, it took me about a week of watching this in the background and debating whether or not I wanted to enter the fray here, because as you guys can see, it's a little bit much. Was doing that for a while, and then I finally, at the persuasion of a few very close friends, was said, okay. So I jumped on, gave some commentary, had some commentary, heard a part of the trial. The part of the trial I heard was when Amber Heard was testifying about the bed situation. And as you guys probably saw from the desk making stuff, I like to do the woodworking thing, and it didn't make sense the way she said it. And everyone was saying, why doesn't it make sense? And I was like, why don't I show you? So I made a video at the insistence of everyone on YouTube. I made a video at 1 o'clock in the morning, released it at, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then that video picked up just a little bit of steam. And that's why I'm here. And it's kind of been trying to figure out what kind of content I want to cover since then. I think I'm kind of finding my niche here and there. There's stuff I like covering, stuff I don't like covering, but that's how I ended up here. And then Ian came down to watch the trial. And we became, I mean, your YouTube friends, and you guys would be shocked as to how much these people that you guys see on the screen, how much they are exactly like you see them. I mean, you look at Ian and the rambling and the sideways and the long hair and the swords and the behaviors and all of that. Ian is the exact same person that you see on screen in person, just a little bit more distracted in person. So of course it was a really easy friendship to make and really easy friends to have. And then hung out with a bunch of the other ones when we went to Alita's wedding. It's just awesome. I have to get around and see everyone else. I hung out with Law Talk with Mike up in Chicago. I hung out with Joe, Kurt, Christina Peichel, Scott. You just name them. I hung out with them, and they are the exact personality that you would imagine them. They're great people. So yeah, it kind of became a really cool group of friends that I never knew I was going to have, that I really am very, very grateful for having. So yeah, Melissa, if anything, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Very generous super chat. Melissa, if anything, I would think the legal team was unfair about something, hearsay. Then Emily would explain why it's fair and legal. That was what we were doing. And that was Andrea Burkhart's purpose in getting those documents released, was to go through and give you guys context to some of the arguments that we were having. So yeah, they weren't really fair. Waltzing Matilda, thank you for the super chat. If this is bad for your mental health, remove yourself. We've all got your back. I'm fine. Didn't bother me. I thought it was funny. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I thought it was funny. I thought the way Runkle handled it was funny. Kat's annoying. She's going to be annoying. Someone asked me the other day, did you ever think that you would ever be in this position where you're actually having arguments on Twitter with someone who writes for national media? No, never, ever thought that. Is it kind of neat? A little bit. Is it neat that I get to kind of, yeah, it's neat and it's scary. It's both. Same time. It's cool though. I like it. Teen Tennessee. Law Lumber, what would you recommend as a starter project for a 14-year-old girl? Oh, I like this one. Starter project for a 14-year-old. How many of you guys in the chat have teenagers that are artists? If you have a teenager that's an artist, drop a 1. If you have a artist that is below teenage years, drop a 2. If you don't have kids but want to dabble, drop a 3. For a teenager, as a starter project for a 14-year-old girl, dollhouses are fun. I've made a dollhouse before. They really are great. And the cool thing about those is you can actually go to a craft supply store and they sell little 1/12 scale furniture. It's really neat. And you can make simple dollhouses. Like you can make a dollhouse that's quite literally a 2-story dollhouse. And when I say dollhouse, I don't mean like cute, cuddly dollhouse. Like you can make it as fun and intricate as you want to. Other things that are fun. What's another fun one? Ooh, here's a good one. There is this product that they made. It's called Unicorn Spit. And I swear that's not me joking around. It's a product called Unicorn Spit. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to make tie-dyes. You put it on the wood material, then you put some cellophane on top of it. You can mess the colors around, and it gives this really cool design and pattern. I'll put a link in the description to that stuff so that you can go check it out. It's really neat stuff. It's fun to play around with. For individuals and for kids that are below that age, painting of any sort. And the cool thing about painting of any sort is you, as the adult, you can do a project where the adult kind of handles some of the tools and the younger child handles the paints. And it's a great way for the two of you guys to hang out and have a good time. But yeah, that's a fun project for everyone to do. Sean Clark, thank you for the super chat. CMC, thank you for the super sticker very much. Jennifer Smythe. I think it's Smythe. Absolutely love your content. Your passion, honesty are what makes you my favorite law tuber. Thank you very much from New Zealand. Thank you for tuning in. Crystal Lopez, thank you for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. Kate Compton, thank you for the generous super chat. The saving grace about all of this is all you amazing lawyers have a loyal following that y'all love, that love y'all. Cat is a waste of time. Ignore the troll. And I like that I kind of interposed that y'all love, because I did read it that way. Yes, we love you guys and we love each other, and it's awesome. I love all of this. This is great. You guys are probably one of the best reactive. If you ever want to, you guys are really great about making us feel good about ourselves. So thank you very much. Question from Annalise Adareo. Raya? Does your woodwork project help with taking care of your mental health? Yes, 100%. That's actually one of the reasons I do it. because I deal in family law, and dealing in family law is messy and not pretty. And I need to be able to make something that makes sense all the time. And I need to be able to be in control of what I make. And when I screw up a woodworking project, I know how to fix it. And I know that I'm responsible for it. And I know that I'm responsible for every step of the way. And I can control that dynamic. When you're in trial in family court, you're not really in control of all of it. And it can be really complicated. Law Patrol, out of curiosity, have you ever made the nieces and nephews a pickler, triangle, or a mini jungle gym or similar? Not a jungle gym. I have gone with inanimate things because moving things and kids love to break moving things. Moving things are complicated, but it's in the list. Rocking chair is the next one. That's the next big project I want to make. Kelly, you should make your mommy help her son. Make a mommy helper step stool for your family members. We have one someone made, and literally all of us use it and love it. Yes, I love those. The ones that have the rails on the outside. And the cool thing is you can make them so they fold down, and they are actually just a stool until you need to fold it up, and then you've got the railing there. Those are great. That's a great idea, Kelly. I'm going to screenshot that one. Screenshot. Okay. Thank you. That's awesome. Adam, I hope you take that thing off the sawhorse and on a real table. Yes. I actually have a platform that I have built for it. So it is going to be secured. Don't worry. It's going to be off the sawhorse. T-Mac, didn't you once say you were a pilot? No, my dad was a pilot. My dad was a single engine pilot. Yeah, I've always wanted to. I've done some of the ground training. I'd love to learn how to do it, but there's a lot of time that goes into that. And as you guys might have gathered, time is a commodity that I don't really have a ton of. But that's on my bucket list. I want to learn how to do that. Rebecca Cornett, will you stream from the shop while you're making the desk? Welcome to Friday nights. I'm going to figure something out. I have a setup down there that I was playing with where I've got cameras that you guys might have seen the making the Lazy Susan video. I've got cameras that can film down there. We'll see. If I can get the setup working, let me get the desk pieces cut out, and then maybe I'll do a simple stream where I put it together or give you guys a walkthrough of how we're going to paint it. Rain 432, don't cut all the way through, finish a box cutter knife. Yep. Or I leave little pins that hold the pieces in. The pins, this is going to be 3/4 inch material. So I'll probably leave like a 1/4 inch pin or an 1/8 inch pin that I can cut through. Yep. Love that. Liz Metcalf, listening with you in the background while two puppies go to town on cups of doggy ice cream. Oh, love the puppers. Hope they're having a good fun with the ice cream. Gina Monaco, greetings from Canada. I enjoy your insights and like Trials of the Century. Thank you very much. And thank you for the very generous support of the channel and for Scott's channel and Ian's channel, because we share that and it's a lot of fun for us to do. Thankful Q, thank you for the super chat. You said you didn't know how to use the Cricut. Rosie is like your Cricut on steroids. You won't have any trouble if you go there. The Cricut has been fun. One thing, if you guys don't know about ADHD, is ADHD sometimes allows you to do a hyper focus stint. And when you hyper focus, you have to learn how to do everything on the thing. So the Cricut is almost mastered. Now it's for the CNC. Catchy Crafts, those desks are amazing. A part of you will be with your nieces as they learn to read, write, and do all the things. That's one of the reasons I do it. I love the sentimental side of making these things. Whitney R. I learned so much about the law with the Depp Heard case or Depp case from LawTube. I can't even watch law TV shows. The same. I appreciate the free education. Thank you so much. Thank you, Whitney. I love doing it. It's fun to be able to educate. Be kind. Wow. Thank you for the very generous super chat. That really is appreciated. So many great memories as a kid in my dad's wood shop. He was an engineer and did beautiful original woodwork, much like you. It was his relaxation time, and he was so creative. Love to see you dive into solo commentary. You're doing great. Thank you very much. And yeah, my dad is with me in the shop every time I'm down there. Don't get, yeah. Okay, hold it. Okay, yeah. Yes. There's a part of woodworking and a part of any shop time that is very nostalgic, which is why I encourage anyone who is a parent with a kid, spend that time with your kids. They will remember the smells, the touch, the feel. They'll remember the smiles. And the best thing in the world is when they make something with you, they treasure it. And you know who treasures it even more? You guys. When they make something with their hands, with your help, and they give it to you as a gift. Look, my mom has, and I'm sure that every mom in the chat here, and even the dads in the chat here, you probably have something in the room that you're sitting in right now that one of your kids made. Just look around. I'm guaranteeing you there's something there, because I know that my mom has this little pot that my brother made, little dish that is still in her house after several moves where she still puts coins. So it's a really important thing to do, and it's a great way to spend time with your kids. Jennifer Cook, thank you for the super chat. I'm active duty, moving all the time. Furniture always breaks. I built a large farmhouse table. It's survived 3 moves so far. Thank you for such a fun channel that I can learn so much from legal to woodworking. That's awesome, Jennifer. And actually, yeah, the farmhouse table is on the list of things to make. I was going to try and walk you guys through that tonight. Computer didn't like me. So we'll make through all the content that we're hoping to make it through. Aimless Six Poet, love you. Recommended you to my twin sister who was diagnosed with ADHD at 36 when trying to conquer grad school. I find you a little too relatable. I hope that's a good thing. Ms. Deed, one and done comments on Twitter might have more value than you think. I'm learning that. Maria Hammond, thank you for the super chat. I remember the first day you were on Legal Bites, you looked scared. I was terrified. I still get terrified. Yeah, I still get nervous. I still like talking to you guys, though. It's fun. It's weird talking to yourself, but really you start to realize you're not talking to yourself, especially with those of you who keep coming back to the chats and you start to recognize names over and over again. Texas Carolou, thank you for the super sticker. Very much appreciated and very generous of you. Chrissy Lee, thank you for that super chat. Just want to say hi and thank you for going live tonight. It's been a rough week and always enjoy what you have to say. Thank you very much for being here. Jan's Front Porch, thank you for the super chat. If I never hear H's name again, I'll consider extremely rich blessing. I watch you, Legal Beagles, because of the coverage of interesting topics with intelligence and a Ziggy Sawdust emoji. Thank you. Thank you very much for that one. Nick Listero, Unionist Labor Law. Twitter debates isn't about convincing the counterpart, just as in trial, it's about educating and convincing the jury. Some people are better at it than others. I can tell you that. SpongeBob SquareBalls. Okay. Thank you. You're doing a very good job. Keep up with the good work. Let's see some lumber sometime soon. I'm going to get to it this weekend. I don't have a choice. I got to get this done. Clever nickname. I love that name, by the way. Question, will you ask T in Tennessee if they will be my bestie? I see them in all my favorite creators. We have the best taste in your YouTube content. You can find her on Twitter. I'm pretty sure she's got openings for best friends all over the place. Reach out. I'm pretty sure she'd love to have you. Whitney R. So Rosie is basically a woodworker's cricket. Yeah. Yep. That's the way of looking at it. Yep, that's what the CNC is. Mandalore Wise, thank you for the super chat. Would it be possible for you to clip ADHD-centered portion of last stream? I actually have some of those that I'm editing right now to try and stitch those together because I do want a bunch of people to ask me for this. And I do actually want to get some of that content out, whether it's funny, whether it's substantive. I want to be able to give it to you guys in a repackaged and smaller format so you don't have to watch a 4-hour live stream until we go off the rails to get there. I'd like to share it with my mother, who's an orientation mobility instructor for blind kids. She'd love it. Also, like Runkle, I use 4 screens. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys are masterminds. Jennifer Payton, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry Mike gave you an alert. Yep, me too. So is my stomach. I don't think it has recovered ever since. I think it's still damaged. Marianne Ruffini, love you, Rob. My daughter and son are serious woodworkers. They both wish they could quit their real life jobs. Me, well, I don't know. I'd like to say me too, but I like trying cases too much. I like helping people. DJ, Rosie, and not Stella. I was holding out hope for Stella and her grooves. It was up there. Stella getting her groove back really was up there. I liked Rose. Just because I like the Cynthia Rose. I just like that combination, that hyphenated name. Mandy Stevens, you're very grateful that you entered the fray. Thank you very much, Mandy. Amanda Lang, you're good. You are all are good human beings. Like attracts like. Thank you very much, Amanda. Maria Presley, just wanted to send love from England. 152 there. Man, you guys are brave and awesome. Great to see you here. Thank you for being here. Amanda Merck, thank you for the super chat. My dad used to take my son to Lowe's Kids Building Workshop every Saturday. It was great bonding time. Now my dad is gone. My son treasures them. That right there. Exactly. Poots Mama, hey Rob, I have these free pallets made any with. Pallet wood is tough. You don't know what you're going to get. Plus, if you guys haven't seen on Instagram, I do a lot of raw edge lumber. So a lot of big, heavy, bulky slabs that I deal with. So the pallet stuff is just not my forte. Jill Siphonis, my 7-year-old son wants to be a builder when he grows up. I show him some footage from your workshop streams and he loves seeing all the gadgets and organizations. His eyes lit up. Thank you. Oh, that means so much. I mean, it really does mean a lot. I love dealing with kids, and I love helping and teaching them. I mean, there's really something special to that. Wolf Rebel, have you ever built like a crazy climbing wall? Curious how you would mix steps, bridges, etc. Love the insights and body analysis with Spidey. I need a friend with a cat. Once I have a friend with a cat, I'll build like a cat jungle gym that's going to be massive and crazy and all kinds of stuff. Prentice Roden, thank you for the very, very generous super chat. Thanks for your unbiased views on these cases. Really enjoy your content. Thank you so, so much. Sandy Ramirez, you guys are being really, really generous tonight. Thank you. We are also grateful to have your voice added to this craziness. You've acted and spoken with integrity, and we all appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Grim Faded, thank you for that super chat. Thank you for giving much needed distraction while I desperately try to finish all the things. Also, why are law school books so expensive? Because schools are expensive. Because the content creators that build the law school books charge a lot of money. I don't know. It really is ridiculous how much they're charging for these things. These cases don't change. The law school book is a summary of cases. They don't change. I don't understand why they're as expensive as they are. There's got to be a better way to do that. Katri, how did you choose what kind of law you wanted to practice? I didn't really choose. It kind of chose me. And I don't mean it that like to sound crazy. You exit law school and then there's a field of opportunities and you think you know what you want to do, and then you kind of end up being somewhere. For those of you guys who don't know anything about me, I wanted to be, there's two different types of lawyers that I was always told about. There's swivel chair lawyers, the ones that sit in offices and swivel their chair. And then there's stand-up lawyers, the ones that litigate cases. I always wanted to be a swivel chair lawyer. I never thought I wanted to stand up in court until I graduated law school and nobody was hiring. And I went to practice for a solo practitioner, and I was trying cases in my very first week of practice. And you didn't really have a choice. So I stood up and argued a case. And the second that you actually end up arguing a case and you open that swivel door to be in front of the bar where all the attorneys are in the pool and the well, and you start speaking and you realize you have the judge's attention, and you realize that you have a client there next to you, and you are their voice in that moment. There's a sense of importance and a sense of significance in that moment that it's either sink or swim, and you have to think on your feet. And I started doing that and I fell in love with it. And now I cannot imagine my life had I actually become a swivel chair lawyer. I don't think I could ever do it. Aimless Six Poet, my hubby purchased a Glowforge last year. Ooh. Nope. Don't buy new tools, Rob. Don't buy new tools. Maybe buy new tools. Don't buy new tools. Maybe list for new tools. Yes. We can't wait to upgrade the laser and add CNC. Awesome. Love it. Absolutely love it. NC Lama, most legal professionals I know do some sort of crafting to de-stress. I knit, a friend plants. We have a couple judges who crochet. So great. I know a lot of people that do, because you need to get out of that field for a few minutes just to give yourself a little bit of peace and quiet. Barney Cat, thank you for the super chat. I'm entering Indigenous family law, assuming I pass the bar. Ooh, that passion and sense of fairness is inspiration. Indigenous family law is challenging because you're dealing with different government entities that have an interest in raising the child. Indigenous has a sovereign interest in determining how those children are raised, but the state has an interest in as well in determining those children are not harmed. So there is a conflict that exists, and there's oftentimes jurisdictional battles over who's the one who gets to make the decision about this child's custody. It's a very complicated area, and I wish you all of the best, and I'm sure you pass the bar. We're going to stay positive. When you get those results, just blast it all over Twitter, tag me in it. I'll give you all the congratulations I can. Disney Nerd 85, thank you for the super chat. My grandfather, retired woodshop teacher, made me a rocking horse when I was little. I have anxiety and ADHD. My go-to is making things with my Cricut and diamond painting. I love your channel. I love all of that. I really love all of that. That is so cool. Eleanor CPA, if you have an interest in antique woodworking tools, I can send you a list and pics from my dad's estate. They need a home. By the way, Hyperfocus rocks. Send me the list. Oh, I love those. I love those. I'm not going to take them off of you. I will pay for them. I refuse to take those things given to me, but they are so awesome. Send me that list and the pictures. I will take a look. Kylie Turner, my brother designs and builds guitars. This is a hobby. Have you ever worked on musical instruments? No, your brother's a luthier. Luthiers are a very specialized sect of woodworking. They're really cool. It's a very cool practice to learn, though. Yeah, that's on the list. Look, everything's on the list. I want to make all the things. Anyone who's ever had like the artistic inspiration, you see someone make something and you want to make all the things. For those of you who are noticing in the back, yes, that I made, that's a little river pour, and that's a little Virginia inlay in the river pour. So yeah, you see something and you just want to make it instantly. Kate, hi Rob, I did a picture on Twitter and added the dog to it from Lincoln Trial with a tassel hat and chair. Hope you find it amusing. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, I'll look that up. If you haven't tagged it already, you can re-forward it to me, or you can DM it to me too. Sudarican, what was your most ambitious project? Would you consider making a spinning wheel for spinning yarn? My most ambitious project was the bar top I made for my dad. That was the one after he passed, and it was an epoxy poured bar top with fiber optic lighting. So I laid the fibers out like the night sky. The day he died, where he lived. So that was the hardest project I've ever done, and also the most emotionally significant. I always want to challenge myself with every new project, though. So I'm always looking for different things to make. T in Tennessee, thank you very much for that very generous super chat. You didn't have to do that, but that's awesome. Married to the Sea, Rob, as the kid of a lawyer / wife of a cop, be okay with the work hours. I am a workaholic myself. Watch who you use as a sounding board and make sure they're supportive. Have your own hobbies. And thank you, Tish, for reminding me of that. That was to this one. And to be honest, that is great, great advice. You have to be okay with the working hours. It is not easy. Find hobbies and then go into a community of people who are supportive of that relationship. If you want that thing to work, because you're going to have people around you who are going to be like, why is he working so long? Or why are they working so long? And you don't want to bring baggage back into that relationship. You have to realize that you love the person for who they are. And part of who they are is what they love and what they love to do. And if you took that away from them, would they be the same person you fall in love with? The answer is pretty much no. I mean, can he scale back? Yeah. Is it okay to ask him to a little bit? That's fine. But be careful how hard you push that, because if you ask him to change and it ends up taking away something that he loves to do you really love that person anymore? Or do you love a different version of him? It's a question. Lynn, love you, Rob. Thank you for the super chat. Just letting you know some of us out here could be your parents. My kid's a little older than you. LOL. Sorry. I get it. I'm sorry. Marianne Williams, thank you very much for the very generous super sticker. And we are almost to a place where I can continue on to the topic, because I need to make sure that I'm not ending this stream with 99 of these things and never sleeping. Cindy Thomas, thank you for the super chat. Oh, the smell of sawdust in the shop. My dad does intarsia pieces. If you guys don't know what that is, go Google it. It is awesome. It is so cool. But made some of my furniture that has moved so many places with me. Yes. Raymond Valdez, Raymond Artful on Instagram, does some intarsia, and he does intarsia classes. It is amazing stuff to see. Look it up on Instagram. Look it up on Google. It's really cool to look at. Carol's Dark Sarcasm. Appreciate you covering EDB tonight. Hope you know we are here because we appreciate you too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Carol. Talking trash and truths. You're extraordinary people. You kept me going the last 4 months as I saw a specialist discover how badly Lyme was attacking my system. I'm so sorry to hear that. Y'all raised me up when I was low. I'm glad to hear that part of it. Can't give you enough love. I'm sorry that you're going through that you went through that. I hope that you're fast on the way to recovery, and I'm glad to hear that the spirits are still high. Don't let those things get you down. Please. You owe it to yourself. Nisa Howard, hey, Rob, you would love the YouTube channel. I like to make stuff. They do a lot of stuff you talk about. You would love the YouTube channel. I like to make stuff. Yes, someone else has tagged me in that. I have to check that out. Carrie Bear, Rob, I have ferrets who would love a climbing wall. Okay. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let me take that last super chat down. Here's what we're going to do. I need to take a very short break. I'll be right back. But in the interim, what I'm going to do is, if you guys missed the Tuesday live stream, I'm going to play this Hopefully you enjoy it. And then I'm going to come explain what happened after Tuesday, and then we're going to get into some litigation cases. Okay?
Good evening, and welcome to Law and Lumber. I'm your host, Rob, and I am most certain not bot. Disclosure: please enjoy this educational content. This program should not be construed as legal advice. If you are seeking legal advice, please consult a lawyer in your jurisdiction. Now, without further delay, please enjoy the show. Again, I am not bot. I am most certain not bot.
Oh my gosh, hope you guys, that didn't take too long. Hopefully. Anyways, Rob didn't get glitches. Rob drank tons of coffee today, and Rob needed a minute to do things. So we're going to do a very brief recitation of what took place after Tuesday's live stream, because it's kind of funny. So after Tuesday's live stream, where we were talking about the NBC article and the Daily Beast article, the second that live stream ended, I got 9 million Twitter notifications. 9 million is obviously an exaggeration. But at the very end of it, get off of the live stream, and all of a sudden my phone blows up on Twitter. Every single freaking person commented on various responses or replies to the things that I had posted on Twitter with some form of anti-Johnny Depp, anti-LawTube, making accusations that I was a liar, making accusations that I was promoting an abuser, making horrible stuff. The second that live stream ended, just all over the place, the same comments showing up on different posts. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I want to walk away from this stuff, but I also can't allow everyone who follows me to all of a sudden be inundated with crap all day long. All right. So, does anyone in the chat know anything about golf? Because if you do, there's some very interesting things that took place, that have taken place the past few weeks, past few months. So if you know about golf, you know that there's the PGA Tour. PGA Tour itself is essentially a gathering entity. It's a nonprofit entity that essentially is a body politic that organizes the tournaments and basically creates rules and regulations under which golfers play. And remember, I said not for profit. Ooh, Peter is in the chat. Well, Peter has the link. I did send Peter a link if he wanted to jump on. It's completely up to him. He also has other stuff going on. He has family and things. It is Friday night, guys. PGA Tour, again, not for profit. Oh, look who we have.
What's up, man?
Hey, buddy.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
I'm on a first time use for this computer here, so everything is just setting up. First time connecting the AirPods even to it.
Is this the nice new shiny one?
This is the new shiny one, the midnight blue. I thought it was black when I ordered it. It came and it was like this little hint of blue.
Midnight blue.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Came just at the right time.
Yeah. Peter, to those of you, shockingly, if anyone in the chat who doesn't know who Peter Tragos is, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to everyone here who's watching.
What's up? I'm Peter Tragos. I'm a golfer from Tampa Bay, Florida. I like to golf a lot. I specialize in golfing, and my YouTube channel focuses on golf as much as possible. I'm also a lawyer in my spare time. But I talked a little bit about this lawsuit that Rob's introducing on my channel. It's called The Lawyer You Know. But I'm really interested to hear your take on it and kind of break down philosophically, like in America, what do we want as far as competition, and what should that look like? It's always an interesting discussion to me, especially when we talk about professional sports.
Well, what's crazy about it is the media coverage on this one. So to give people in the chat who haven't caught up to speed on this one, PGA Tour has essentially been the bee's knees. They have been in complete control and have 100% market share, except for the European Tour and some other small tours. But even those European tours are subservient to the PGA Tour in a lot of respects. PGA PGA Tour sets regulations. They put up these tournaments. All the golfers play under them, and they have to play in accordance with the PGA Tour's rules. LIV Golf, LIV Golf, stands for 54, right? 54 is a organization that was created and funded primarily by Saudi money. They went out and hired Greg Norman, nicknamed the Shark, old pro golfer who also is very well respected in the golf community, a remarkable player, a remarkable ambassador for the game. They hire him to help manage and create this league. And they step on the playing field and start, because they have Saudi money, we're talking about not millions, billions. And they start trying to draw players from the PGA Tour to play in some of these events. And the way that they came into this was they didn't come into this as a direct competitor. They wanted to be a companion to the PGA Tour. They actually had set up their schedule so that they would not have competing dates for their tournaments. And they were trying to coax some of these players away. Well, PGA Tour didn't like that. A lot of the players didn't like that. And there was a media coverage basically looked at this as a way of what you call it the other day, sports washing.
That's what somebody else called it. Yeah, on our
That's
channel.
what someone else called it on your channel.
Yeah.
They've been saying it's sports washing. Essentially, the Saudi government saying, "Look at this shiny thing that we can create. Look at this golf. We can golf all over the world, and the pretty things that we set up, and we have golfers play for us. Now ignore the other things that we do as far as our government, how we spend our money, and how we treat journalists." So that was how this thing got started. And the PGA Tour took a very active position and said, essentially, if you are a player and you go and play for these tournaments, you're going to be banned. They went further than that, though. And still, the player dynamic back and forth, there was essentially a little war that broke out within the PGA Tour. And I've been trying to explain this to people. Now, Peter, you remember like when the NFL was the NFL and the AFL before they merged?
Yeah. Well, they've had a couple different where it was they've had a couple different things, but they've had some real competitive leagues in the NFL. Was it the old USFL where Steve Young was actually in the USFL before coming to the NFL? So they have had some competition in the past. But it was the before in basketball before the merger and all that stuff. I mean, there's been competitive sports leagues in the past.
Imagine like one of those leagues, the USFL, right? The small, tiny league that all of a sudden gets enough money to compete for market share with the NFL. That's kind of what this is. And the USFL starts to go and buy players off, and then they're starting to offer the similar thing. They change the rules of the game a little bit, but they have enough market share and they have enough money to get the advertisers, to get the venues, and to get the marketing up.
What it would really be like is if Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, Bezos, and somebody else were like, we're going to take us four, and we're going to have team Facebook and team Amazon and team Tesla. And we are going to give the players 100% of the profits and have four teams that play each other 4 times a year. And the top 2 teams at the end play each other, and they each win $100 million to split between them. That it was enticing enough to pull Patrick Mahomes and to pull Tom Brady and to pull the big shots over there to say, I want to go do this. This is in fact our job. We play a game as our job. It's a sport. We're not curing cancer. We're not doing anything to really, I mean, I realize they do help people through charitable giving and things like that. But in reality, what they wake up and do every day is play a game. And so if somebody else offered them this much money, if there was this much money to entice them, because that's what's happening here. That's why other leagues like the European Tour and the Asian Tour, Canadian Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, which is actually owned by the PGA Tour, but these other tours just can't compete because the purse sizes are so much smaller. They just can't compete. So that's the difference. And it's the same thing with the USFL. They're getting lower level players. The money's not good. It's actually being pitched as a way to try out for the NFL. You know, basically that's how they're trying to get some players in the USFL. Is like, don't go ride the bench in the NFL. Come start in the USFL. I think that's what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, kind of like the CFL. The NFL never viewed the CFL as being a competitor, but the CFL did produce athletes that end up making it on NFL rosters later.
Right.
So the politics behind this and the narrative behind this really quickly became Saudi money, Saudi league, PGA good, LIV bad. That was how it was portrayed, and that's how it's continued to be portrayed. And to be honest, I can see exactly why people view it that way, because it is a form of, you want to call it sports washing. There is an incentive there for the government to put this out there and put this out there to kind of make their name known. But the PGA wasn't innocent in how they handled the response to this one. They blacklisted players. And now the player argument, I was listening to you the other day, and I like the player argument here, because the player argument is, you're a contractor. You don't like it, you can go. If you don't like the PGA rules that say you can't play in a LIV tournament, you can go. You can make money over there, have fun, but you can't come back and play in any of our tournaments. And then LIV can kind of say, here's enough money that would incentivize you and draw you away. I mean, Dustin Johnson, one of the preeminent golfers in the world, who's probably, where would you put, like, he's like on the top down slope of his career. Like, he's up there, but he's like on the other side.
I mean, I guess I almost feel like he is, like, if the career goes like this, I feel like he's at like a little plateau peak almost. Like, he is top level. Anytime he's ahead, you're like, this dude could run away with it at any minute. 2 years ago in the Masters was like, everybody else is a joke compared to him. Like, he still has it, no doubt. He is not like a Phil Mickelson type character at all.
Yeah. Phil Mickelson, to those of you in the chat, left-handed player, fantastic player, older, remarkable comedian, jokester, practical joker, gambler. Basically, he's the Frank Sinatra of golf, like just the guy that just shows up and makes jokes, and everyone kind of laughs at him. He left to go play for LIV, and he was like, okay, I'm at the end of my career. If I make a couple $100 million, I'm happy. Dustin Johnson, they cut him a check for $100 million, and they said, come play with us. And he said, okay, $100 million guaranteed. Boom.
You know what's interesting about that? This is like a side topic we don't have to discuss, but I've been wondering how they're doing that, because I think it's got to be like a draw, because it couldn't possibly be 100 million plus the normal winnings throughout. It's got to be like, you know, you're guaranteed money in these purses because everybody makes money. You're a team captain, so you get a bigger chunk of what the team wins with all these kind of funky rules LIV is throwing out there. I bet he's got 100 million guaranteed, but he's probably not going to make more than 100 million until he actually does some earning here and there in these tournaments. Because if it's 100 million plus, like a retainer plus in our world, that's a lot of money.
Some of that's probably signing bonus, though. There's got to be some of that that's guaranteed money.
Oh, yeah, some of it, for sure. Absolutely.
So this comes out, and the strife gets big enough that the US DOJ gets involved. And the US DOJ starts an investigation. We have no idea where it's going, because it's the US DOJ doing an investigation. You don't know what they're actually investigating or how deep they are into it, but they're doing an investigation to see if the PGA is engaging in monopolistic / antitrust violations. Basically squeezing out unfair. I'm struggling here, Peter, help me.
Yeah, it's unfair competition. They're just squeezing out all the competition. It's anti-competitive. There's all sorts of words they use that are like different variations of monopoly or monopolistic. So when it comes down to it, and you want to see if somebody is not just the biggest and the best at what they do, because that's okay, right? Like, you have McDonald's, right? McDonald's doesn't have a monopoly, but everybody knows McDonald's, right? Depending on what part of the country you're in, maybe you don't know Whataburger, maybe you don't know Chick-fil-A, maybe you don't know some other place, but you know McDonald's. That's not a monopoly. When it comes to the PGA Tour, are they doing things to suppress other competitive leagues from ever even getting off the ground? And you might say, how do you do that? And it's not just being better. It's not just competing for the players, but they are trying to blackball everybody that may do anything to help the LIV Golf Tour, whatever it's called. And they're going as far as like telling tent makers, if you make the tents for the LIV Golf tournaments, we will never use you for a tent again.
And that was where I was getting pissed. Like, I was fine with the contractor argument, but when they started, so this is the lawsuit that gets filed, and it got filed in the Northern District of California. People said, why the Northern District of California? That's where the PGA has the majority of their tournaments. That's where the PGA operates most extensively, and that's the court they feel is going to be the most favorable to them. Them being the plaintiffs who brought the suit against the PGA. So you have Phil Mickelson, Taylor Gooch, Hudson Swafford, Matt Jones, Bryson DeChambeau, Abraham Anser, Carlos Ortiz, Ian Poulter, Pat Perez. I didn't see that Perez was in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
another funny dude.
Yeah, and he's on the lower money list. So interesting. Jason Kokrak and Peter Ulian. Ulin?
He's a Corn Ferry
I don't know
Tour
him.
player, I'm pretty sure.
So let me tell you how the PGA Tour works as far as the money. Before we, and telling the chat, the PGA Tour, basically, you have to front all of the money to go to these tournaments. You advance the cost of you getting there. You advance the cost of your caddy. You advance the cost of all of this. So you might be out of pocket for, say, $10,000 to go to a tournament, to physically arrive and play there. And then you play. And the PGA Tour is set up where there are 4 rounds. You play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But you only play on Saturday and Sunday if you make the cut after Friday. So your first 2 days, you have to play good enough to advance to the final 2 days of play, which is where the PGA gets their coverage. The problem is, if you don't make the cut, you get $0. So you are completely out of pocket for what you paid to get there. And then, so you're actually taking a loss on every single tournament that you don't make the cut on. And you're hoping just to make the cut, because when you make the cut, you're guaranteed at least some portion of the money from the pot. LIV Golf, however, their model was essentially, if you pay, you get paid. If you play, you get paid. It's 3 rounds instead of 4. You jump in, and no matter what, if you are the last place player, you get paid a certain dollar amount. At the very least, you're covering your expenses for getting there because you are giving them a product. So this is where a lot of the players started to get incentive for the LIV tournament as opposed to the PGA tournament, because the LIV tournament, you might not be the best player in the world, but you're still adding something to the game. You might have a breakout round. I mean, how many players have you seen? I think of Will Zalatoris. Remember when he was he was leading, what was the US Open?
Yeah, he came out and fired shots at LIV too, which was funny.
Oh, did he? That's funny,
Yeah.
because he's one of those that was on the lower end of the money pool and had one breakout tournament, made his money back. But if he didn't make that cut, that one tournament, would he still be playing in the PGA, or would he have been in the negative money pool and had to kind of go back out and find a different way of making money? It's an interesting argument. But so LIV, so they filed this lawsuit against the PGA. And yes, Colleen, I'm going to star this one, hit it real quick. Yeah, Peter and I are going to get on the course. Peter's going to have to give me like a stroke a hole. Because I was looking at the score he posted, and I don't know if he fabricated that. I'm pretty sure he probably did. Lawyers are liars. There's no way. He's too good.
There's no worse place to lie than on the golf course. It doesn't do you any good to lie that way. If I was going to lie, I would lie going up.
That's true. That's true.
There's money on just about all of my rounds have money on them now. So I'm not really able to lie about my scores.
Yeah. At some point in time, when Peter and I both find time, we are going to do a golf tournament.
Yes,
I cannot imagine
absolutely.
anything more freaking fun than getting out there and playing.
That would be fun.
Yeah. So these lawsuits, as they are in federal court, they have a lot of preface here, like a lot of this background, and just let's give you history. That's a lot of just history.
What's interesting about the history, the most interesting part about the history of all of this is, not only is this not the first time that a competitive league has tried to rise up, I think it's the third in recent memory, like since the 90s. And I think it's the third time that Greg Norman has been involved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The competitive golf league coming. Yes. And I just heard the other day, Davis Love give an interview saying that basically they all hate Greg Norman. They all gave him the opportunity to be a player member on the board of the PGA Tour. He never wanted to get involved in it. He never got involved in it. Just like Rory is now. He's the top player on the board for the PGA Tour, which is why we've heard a lot from him as well. And they quote him a lot in the complaint to try to make a point that even he says competition is good for the league. But it seems like Greg Norman is more in line with, let's just say, the NBA. I feel like they are most in the forefront in the media as always fighting for a bigger share, revenue share of the total revenue brought in by the league. And it seems like Greg Norman has always been looking at that and saying things like, guys, why aren't we making a bigger percentage from this nonprofit corporation? Why aren't we making a bigger profit as the players? And he's tried to push it, but golf is just different. Golfers are built different. It's a different world.
It is. Why don't you? So here's the thing. I have made the comment about nonprofit. I need to grab my bottle of wine because I forgot downstairs. Tell the chat how much money these guys are raking in, and by guys I mean the people on the board of this nonprofit.
So yeah, I mean it's literally their packages don't only include tens of millions of dollars, but they're also flying private planes. They're going to the RNA Club. They're going to Augusta. They're put up in the nicest places you could ever want to be put up in. They are making as much, if not more, than a lot of the players that are actually on tour playing. And these are people on the board of a nonprofit organization. And what's interesting about that, too, is if you read Jay Monahan, who is the commissioner of the PGA Tour, is also on the board of the World Golf Rankings. He's also on other tours boards, and he's basically a decision maker everywhere it matters when it comes to golf. And they mentioned the golf ecosystem in here. And if you read it, it almost feels a little political with how dismissive they are of the laws and what other people can do. At one point they say, you know what, if the court says that we got to let these guys in, then we just won't show up and let's see them have a tournament without us.
Wasn't that the Davis Love interview we were talking about?
Yes.
Where he was saying if the court sides, Davis Love gives an interview and the court, he says in the interview, if the court sides with them and says that we have to let them play, then come the Masters. When the Masters show up, if one of those guys shows up and tries to play for the Masters, none of us are going to show up. Are you kidding me? It's the Masters.
That's like a social experiment. I would be shocked if that happened. Like all of these guys, if you're not making, and that's the point, is you said you pay to play and you can lose money, and that's all true for a vast majority. But a lot of these guys, which everybody in the chat, that the ones that they probably know, the Justin Thomases, Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, Tiger, they're getting paid tons everywhere they go. They got sponsorships, they're getting exemptions, they're winning here and there. They've got more money than they know what to do with. So they might not show up to the Masters. But if you're just some guy who's got his tour card and you're trying to continue to make it, and you're like, hey, the top 50 guys aren't showing up to the Masters, I'm pretty sure we'd see some guys show up there. And that's the real point where LIV can really pull from, but they don't want to be the USFL. They don't want to be the Korn Ferry Tour. They don't want to take players outside the top 100. They want to get some top 10 guys. They want to get some top 30 guys, and they're willing to pay up for it because, I mean, I know some people have already said in the chat, $800 million reportedly was offered to Tiger. Mm-hmm. And that's what on my thing, Tiger could smash anybody, including the PGA Tour.
He could. If Tiger's not going to, Tiger has basically said, I'm not leaving the PGA because the PGA is the PGA. But Tiger's one of those guys where being on the PGA Tour, it doesn't matter. He's making that $800 million throughout his life. He doesn't care. The sponsorship deals, he is Tiger Woods. He doesn't need LIV Golf. He doesn't need the PGA. He's Tiger Woods. But this one, the paragraph 8 here, second, the tour maintains that its media rights regulation provides an additional means of foreclosing players from participating in competing events. This regulation, this is how strict the PGA is, prohibits any members from appearing in any golf program, not just tournament, golf program, golf contest, exhibition, or play that would include a long drive competition. If one of these guys shows up in a long drive competition that takes place anywhere in the world and is showed on media of any type, they need to get an exemption from the PGA to play in a long drive competition if it's televised. That's how much the PGA owns their likeness and their image in this sport.
I actually kind of think, like, with this, I'm pretty sure this also includes YouTube. Like, I watched some golfers on YouTube and they've had some PGA guys on, and it's very clear that it had to get cleared by the PGA before they were allowed to be on. And there are certain parts they had to cut out. It's because this media rights deal.
Mm-hmm. Can I tell you a little secret on that one?
Sure.
That's why when they do a lot of the YouTube stuff, you will see sponsored by TaylorMade, because they get a sponsor's exemption. It's not just that if they did not have a sponsor's exemption, they would no way be able to play out there, because what the sponsor does is the sponsor goes to the PGA and says, we give you lots of money. We need to promote our brand outside of the organization. You need to give our sponsored player the ability to show off the clubs in a non-PGA sanctioned event. And the PGA says, you give us a lot of money, we're going to let you do it.
How do we get that, Rob, for our tournament? How do we get it sponsored by TaylorMade? Is that maybe somebody in your chat works at TaylorMade and they're really high up there?
I don't know. PGA, if you're listening to this right now, we're going to give you some advice on maybe things that you might want to consider possibly changing about these policies that might get you more favorable disposition in court. Based on that commentary, not legal advice, if you wouldn't mind reaching out and possibly giving us a sponsorship for
definitely.
for the Tragos Morton golf tournament, that'd be great.
That's right. The annual. We'll make it every year. So to me, but the YouTube part of this is an interesting angle because I think a couple things. I think the PGA would be smart to partner with some of these. We're talking about like Rick Shields, 2 million subscribers on YouTube, right? Like we're talking about real reaches that more people probably know who Rick Shields is than they know anybody outside the top 50 golfers. So it could be an interesting partnership there, or vice versa. If LIV gets a hold of some of these YouTube golfers, uses them to promote, to get fans, to really, that could be a cheaper way of broadcasting your tournaments. You already have Bryson DeChambeau doing YouTube stuff. You've got Wesley Bryan doing YouTube stuff. You've already have some PGA Tour guys doing it, or ex-PGA Tour guys doing it. So I do think that that's an interesting angle that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, is the new way people watch TV or watch sports. And YouTube's a big part of that.
Well, and I can tell you the thing about this one is the mainstream media. So if you think about the, I hate to bring it up, but the Johnny Depp trial is a good example, because what Johnny Depp, call it Rittenhouse, call it any one of these other trials that YouTube has covered. There's the mainstream media narrative. And then when you actually get behind the weeds and you dig in past the article, you see there's a lot more going on there. And that's the mainstream media right now is 100% behind the PGA, because the PGA owns the mainstream media narrative on this. They have all of the contacts. They've been doing these press releases and press blockouts forever. I mean, the PGA Tour, their media days are so strict that those all the questions have to be pre-cleared through the PGA. Like, you can't just show up to their media day and ask a player, what if you didn't want to play next week? You can't ask them that. They can't answer that. The PGA controls all of it. But yeah,
it's like back in the day is still how golf is run. Like, they are slow to adapt literally everything in golf.
So don't they have the Monahan quotes in here?
Yes, they have a bunch of those. Yeah, you can control F Monahan. I mean, when I did that, there was like 50 Monahan quotes where he's like, we don't want competition. We changed the rules specifically to eliminate a competitive league from being able to be started. You're either partnering with them or you're partnering with us if you're the European Tour.
Yeah. While I do that, this was did you see this letter come out?
I did not. I have not seen this yet.
Oh, this is good.
But yeah, they were making a big deal about the timing. Yeah, that some of these people wanted to do it right before the FedEx Cup playoffs. We've been preparing to protect our membership and contest this latest attempt to disrupt our tour. You should be confident in the legal merits of our position, they say. Saudi Golf League employees. They are now Saudi Golf League employees. Have walked away from the tour.
He came out not just swinging. He came out, and I mean, I don't know how he cleared this past their press corps. Like, dude,
that's what I'm saying. This guy is like king of the castle, and I don't think anybody's going to check him. I really don't think anybody's going to check him.
Yeah. So let me see if I've got, because I like the control F. That's a really good tip here, because it's bringing gold, the control F.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did too. And it just brings up all the chunks, and there's some good stuff in there. And this right here. So these quotes Rob's going to read are LIV Golf's best arguments at them just crushing competition, leaning and putting pressure on anybody that may disagree with them. And this is why we should be worried about them smashing competition. These quotes. These are the most damning evidence against the PGA Tour.
Yep. So June 22nd, 2022, Jay Monahan says the tour is doing everything it possibly can to make certain that the best players in the world are competing on the best tour in the world, the PGA Tour. Okay, that sounds innocent enough. I'm pretty sure he might get a little bit more strict than that. If any other golf tournaments or event in North America, without exception, if a tour sanctioned event is scheduled the same week, yada, yada, tour sanctioned, all of that. Let's go to the next one. Different stance regarding LIV. Commissioner Monahan has confessed as he's part of the past practice prohibiting members from participating in LIV. Heads queen on the tour, enforcing conflicting events. Monahan wrote in so this is 2020, January 2020 strategy memorandum, because the talks of this were all the way back then. Gosh, man, that's crazy to think about.
There was something else that happened in 2019. I can't remember. I think they tried to do something else in 2019 as well.
So even 2020. So in 2020, they viewed this as a threat. The impact. So this is a strategy memo. This is an internal document within a nonprofit entity, which is publicly disclosable to, because they're 501c3, you can get these docs. The impact that the new league could have on the PGA Tour is dependent on the level of support it may receive from these players. Without the support, the new league's ability to attract media and corporate partners will be significantly marginalized and its impact on the tour diminished. Does that sound like he might be trying to set up a way of, I don't know, cutting them off at the knees?
That's exactly it. That's what all of his quotes basically are.
Let's see. Where's the next good one? Suspended or forced to resign. Ecosystem. That's the ecosystem argument. Tour executed Monahan's plan would announce that it had purchased a minority stake in. Yep. So the PGA Tour goes and buys a stake in the European Tour's media production company. So the PGA Tour doesn't just sit there and try to persuade the European Tour; they buy into them. Oh,
I'm posting on Twitter that I'm on your channel. I didn't do that before I came, so I'm doing that now.
Take your time. And there's Monahan's comment about it. We've continued discussions with the European Tour about the potential to work for more closely together, thereby removing the European Tour as a potential partner of a new entrant. So quite literally, this is the old the steel monopolies, when they would buy up portions of the smaller steel factories so that they could control the output, so that they could regulate the cost of the steel they were trying to generate, and the old railway arguments. This is what monopolization starts as. This is what it looks like. And this is not, I am not speaking about the merits of the LIV League at all. I am speaking about the conduct of the PGA in this regard. Yeah. And to echo back to what Peter was saying about Monahan, there were Brooks Koepka, his earnings. What was the year they published that? It was last year's earnings?
2019, $9.6 million, something like that.
That was Koepka, right?
Yes. Yeah, he was the number one player that year.
And Monahan was like 6.3. Like Monahan was like between the first ranking player. Monahan made just between him and the third ranking player.
And that doesn't include all of the other stuff that he gets and all of the other boards that he sits on. He's making over $10 million for sure, easily.
Yep. And this is a funny part of this case too. So there's world golf rankings. In the world golf rankings, which players rely on and need to get sponsorships, if you get, and also exemptions to play in tournaments, you are given exemptions to play in certain tournaments if you are ranked within a certain limit, or like if you're the top 10 in the world, you are automatically qualified to play in certain tournaments. Top 20, top 50, top 100, you get qualifications and exemptions. Monahan, so LIV Golf just applied to be a part of this calculation. And it's supposed to be a governing board. It's supposed to be an international body that essentially is nonpartisan. Well, let's see how nonpartisan this board actually is. PGA on the board, PGA Tour Commissioner Monahan, as well as the top executives of a number of other bodies. The CEO of the European Tour, which PGA owns a stake in. General Counsel of the European Tour, PGA owns a stake in. CEO of European Tour, PGA owns a stake in. CEO of PGA of America, U.S. Director of the United States Golf Association, also in bed with the PGA. Masters Tournament, all right, could possibly see that. CEO of the RNA, could see that being kind of fair. Former CEO of the RNA, I can see that being fair. But you see that it's a split board, and at least, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of those seats are guaranteed to the PGA's advantage.
But I've also heard that every single one of those other organizations has already announced their allegiance with the tour in other areas, to where we already know how it's going to lean.
Well, yeah, because so let's say for example that one of these PGA Tour players plays on the European Tour, and the PGA Tour says, if you side with LIV, then maybe you're next. Maybe I just say that if they play on the European Tour, they can't play with us, and that kills the European Tour. It's toast. There's no way that's not a competing market.
Yeah, it would be the same thing as saying if you play in the minor leagues, you can never make it to the major leagues. Nobody would play in the minors. It's the only reason you go play in the minor leagues is to get to the major leagues. That's the only reason anybody goes and plays the European Tour until they find out they're not good enough for the PGA Tour. Then they either have to make a decision, can I make a living on the European Tour, or do I need to go get a real job?
Oh, so this was the salary pool data. This one was interesting too. So this was what you were talking about earlier. The tour's purses means the money that the players take home. During this period of time they were analyzing it, grew 2.5% per year on average from 14 to 19. From 6.6 million, that's the average purse from which the players can draw some percentage, to 7.47 within a 5-year period. By comparison, the salary pool for NFL 15%, which would be, I mean, that would be that 6.2 to like 12 million.
And these leagues start higher. So it's even harder to go up when you're already in the tens of millions of dollars, which these leagues are.
So 15%, 8%, and 4% for the NHL. Even the NHL, and you made this comment when you were covering this one, the NHL, you know, they didn't, I'm like, even the NHL had a higher growth rate in the amount they were paying their players. So you can see
sport
why
does not seem like it's thriving.
No, but and you can see why the players are divisive on this topic. Like you can see why some of them need it, some of them want it because it doesn't seem fair. But you can see why some of them are so opposed to it, because if the PGA loses this one, then what do they do?
Well, the other interesting part about this is a lot of people like to get angry at players that make millions of dollars for getting annoyed at how much money they make. And then we hear some leagues where the players are like, oh, look at that league. Those players make so much more. It's unfair. And people are like, well, nobody watches your league. So your league doesn't bring in any money. So I've heard that argument as well. That's not the case here, though.
No, they PGA also brings in tons of money.
So when Brooks Koepka says, I'm the number one player, why are there 128 NFL players that make more money than me? Why are there backup quarterbacks that make more money than me? It's because he's annoyed because the PGA also, not as much as the NFL, of course, but they make a lot more money than it looks like with how this spread goes, because the share does not go enough to the independent contractor players.
Yeah. Like, by the way, like to the chat, like Masters Week, do you know how much, like the PGA Tour and every sponsor, every network that covers NBC covers Masters, right? Yeah. They have exclusive rights to it. They rake in more during that week, I think, than probably, and they have to rake in more that week than any other week in their entire network season.
I read something somewhere that I think, I can't remember if it's that, or I think they have one of the playoff games, like wild card weekend or something. I can't remember. I don't know what the answer is to that, but that's Jim Nantz all day long. Just you can hear his voice as the music's playing in the background, and it's the best week in sports. I mean, it's just the best week in sports.
Yeah, let me see here. The Masters. How much money does PGA earn from Masters?
Well, and I'll just, while you're looking that up, I mean, we have the Valspar here at Innisbrook in my backyard, and if Tiger's there, everybody's going. All of the vendors are jam-packed. You can't park. You can't Uber anywhere close. Rental houses are going for crazy amounts of money, and that is just the Valspar. And some of these tournaments are so big and make so much money. And just think about when Tiger's in the hunt at the Masters, how much money they're raking in. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. This is not some struggling league that's not making any money, and that's why the players aren't making money.
Oh, yeah. So this is a 2020 article. Says that even smaller networks rake in 25 million from international broadcast rights. So 25 million from international broadcast rights. That's international. 40 million to the club. 150 million in gross revenue for
I would have
4
guessed
days.
more.
That's what is that for? That's ANGC, American National Golf. Oh no, that's Augusta National. Oh, Augusta National made 150 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be more than that.
It's got to be way more than that. That's crazy.
The money in this is just astronomical. That's a fact.
Oh yeah. Golf sponsorships are some of the most lucrative sponsorships that players can ever acquire. Like, it's not like this, like shoe sponsorships are great. Golf sponsorships, they are hard fought, and the big names like the Tiger Woods. Imagine how much he gets paid for his sponsorship revenue. This is a part of the lawsuit that I really liked. Well, not liked. I thought it was cute on behalf of on LIV. They called this the Monopoly Manifesto.
I know, all over the place.
Oh, it was so great. They were basically referring to this, the media rights regulation that was drafted as the Monopoly Manifesto. And they go on and say, what is it? Our current tournament regulations provide a significant hurdle for PGA Tour members with respect to contracting with private equity golf under its proposed structure. In particular, the tournament regulations governing conflicting events and media rights releases would be applicable in November, blah, blah, blah. Ensure that all golf events are unequivocally covered on a global basis. So basically, the tour is saying we're going to cover everything on a global basis so that if anyone plays outside of that, you are SOL.
Did you talk about the competition restrictions yet, or we're still doing Monahan tweets? Or I mean,
it's still Monahan,
quotes?
man. He's got
Okay.
68 quotes in here. We're gonna fly through some of them.
Well, it's because of what you just said. They probably can't imagine that he was able to say some of the things he said, just like that letter we read. So as lawyers, when you're looking for stuff like this, he does not care. He thinks no one can touch him, and he may be right. There may be enough competition for them to overcome these antitrust restrictions. So I mean, it's definitely plausible. Like, I don't think this is a easy case for LIV by any means, because there are all of these tours that technically do compete with the PGA Tour. It's just in reality.
And he expands it. Like he expands it to PGA Tour Champions, Corns Ferry Tour, PGA Tour Latino America. That's a weird way of saying it. Anyways, PGA Tour Canada, PGA Tour China. He extends this thing to freaking everywhere.
And what's funny is, so they have that competition restriction where you can't play in another tournament that's happening at the same time as a PGA tournament unless we give you an exemption, which they normally give for all these smaller tours. They're like, you want to go play there? If you're a smaller nobody player, go ahead, go play there. You want to go play in the LIV Tour? Absolutely not. You are banned for life.
Mm-hmm.
That's called applying your rules disproportionately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, this one was good. The pointing to a rule he claimed would prevent players from competing in the team format if essentially one of the other team members was from this competing league. So, for example, there are team events that you're allowed to play on that are not PGA sanctioned events. What's the one I'm thinking of? It's not a major.
You're not talking about the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup or any of that?
It's the Ryder and Presidents, but those Ryder and Presidents are not PGA. They're not PGA. Those are independent bodies, right?
And the Ryder Cup is, but they all agreed to boot them. I don't know if the President's Cup is technically a PGA event.
But even something as simple as the PNC, is the PNC the father-son? Is that PGA? That's PGA.
I thought it was. I don't know, honestly. There's so many weird things. Like the PGA doesn't own a lot of these tournaments. Like the players own and operate these tournaments.
Yeah, the Players Championship.
Right, yeah, but I mean, no, I mean the Tiger Woods whatever tournament every year is Tiger Woods, paying for it and sponsoring it and putting it on. But that the PGA gets a cut. There's a funny line in here where they said a competitive league came up one day and the PGA was like, okay, we'll agree to that as long as we get a cut and we have a say and you have to clear everything you do through us. That's fine. You can create this competitive league with ours. It's like, well, that doesn't sound very competitive. If I have to imagine a competitor coming to you and being like, hey, so in order for you to run your business, I need to take a cut of it and you need to ask me before you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a competitive league.
And in exchange, we will provide exemptions so PGA players can play there. That's the exchange, is we will give exemptions to allow the players to play there. So these players they're people. I mean, they're people. They're not sheep. Like, we will give exemptions to allow these players to play in this tournament, which could be a charity event. What's the one Tiger does? The charity
Wounded Warriors.
The Wounded Warriors one. that has to get a PGA exemption in order for the players to show up there. That's a charity golf tournament. And if Tiger were to allow, under this structure, if Tiger were to allow a live golf player, Tiger risks that tournament.
It feels weird, right? In 2022, the stuff that we get up in arms about and fight about, it feels a little weird, if I'm being honest. It just feels a little weird.
It's not the play. That's the thing, is it's not. When I first looked at this case, I thought it was the players. I'm going, if this is the players, why are we fighting about this? And then when you start to read the regulations and you see the quotes, you're going, this is not just the players. The charity tournament is a great example. Let's say that one of these pros wants to host a charity event, and like they want to have, and Bryson DeChambeau is willing to show up to their charity event. Do you know how much money that would bring into that charity, which is a good and solid purpose? Bryson DeChambeau is willing to show up, and he's willing to sign autographs and willing to sit there and talk. Phil Mickelson's willing to give a press release. Phil Mickelson's willing to captain a team like he did to the U.S. Ryder Cup team. He's willing to be a co-captain or a associate captain. They're willing to give that money to a charity, which could be the most noble charity you would ever imagine. But because they have agreed to sign on, the PGA Tour will revoke exemption status and prevent any other PGA player from playing in that tournament. Holy crap. I mean, that's bullshit. Like, and PGA Tour is a 501c3. They don't pay taxes. They're tax exempt. They're a nonprofit. And you're going to let them pull that shit?
Yet they have money just laying around that magically they can add to the players' purses when some competition does arise. If you go,
oh, you mean the PIP?
Go to the Damon, the Joel Damon quote, where he says magically they came up with $50 million when there's a little bit of competition out there. So I think competition's good. And he's like, we just added all this money out of nowhere just because this other league popped up and was doing it a little bit differently, because they are not giving the players what they're worth, which, again, do we want to feel bad about guys making $5 and $10 million a year, whatever? But I'm a strong justice kind of guy, you know, and I know everybody wants to say, well, big fan of justice. I just like fairness is something that I think we can all agree on. So if the players are earning the money, I think they should be able to get a certain amount of that money. And I think a lot of it we don't even know because of how the PGA spends their money and does the things that they do kind of behind closed doors. And the players are very obviously not allowed to ask certain questions.
Yeah, so the PIP thing is really interesting to me, because the PIP, for those in the chat don't know, PGA LIV Golf comes into fruition. LIV Golf is starting to threaten. And then basically PGA magically says, you know what, we're going to do this because people are complaining about the PGA not spreading the purse around. So we're going to create this player incentive program. That's why we call it the PIP, or impact program.
Yeah.
And what it is it's the top 10 players for that given year. Top 10. Yes. 10. They were the ones that get top 10 or top 50. I forget. It was some incremental number. And the PGA doesn't tell you how they're going to assess the impact, because it's supposed to be given out in some proportionate way to those players that have the most significant impact on the game. That was how they said it. If you had the most significant impact on the game, you would get this money. Well, automatically your head goes to who has the most significant impact? Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, all the big names. But then there's other players too who are active in social media, the younger guys, the smaller guys, Max Homa, who get kind of excluded from that because they don't have the same media coverage. But the PGA Tour comes and finds $50 million and just throws it in this program. And then they say it's the player impact program, and they don't tell you how they're going to grade the players. They don't tell you how they're going to assess the impact they have. They just arbitrarily decide it, and then they give it out at the end of the year. And it's like, okay, one, where'd the money come from? Two, how are you ranking it? Three, why is it that the same guys are getting this that have been getting all the money the entire time? Why not give it to the guys that are going around and having these, like the Harold Varner? He was going around and teaching youth golf in underprivileged areas. He was teaching youth golf. Why not give it to those guys?
Can I read you the list of who won last year?
Yeah.
Do you want to guess who got first place based on what you've already said?
It was Tiger.
It was Tiger. He got $8 million. You know who got second?
Phil
Mickelson, $6 million bucks. You know who got third?
Bryson.
Rory.
Yeah,
third,
I can see that.
Jordan Spieth fourth, then Bryson fifth, Justin Thomas 6th, Dustin Johnson 7th, Brooks Koepka 8th, John Rahm 9th, and Bubba Watson 10th.
Yep.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 are LIV golfers. I think Bubba's going. I think I read something that Bubba's going. So I think it's 5 of the top 10. Last year, the biggest players with the biggest impact for the PGA Tour are leaving to go to the LIV Tour. There's something to that. There's something to that.
And the other thing that's funny about the PIT program, Peter, how many tournaments did Tiger play in last year?
I know everybody was so mad about it. Everybody was so mad about it. And it's not fair. It's like you make an award, the guy just shows up and he wins it. But that's how you get him to turn down $800 million.
Yep. He played in one tournament, the father-son, the PNC, with one leg. And Charlie was the star of the show. And the only reason people showed up was to see him swing a golf club. And he released one video on Instagram of him taking a swing. That was his. I'm not minimizing it. I love Tiger. I loved watching him play.
Me too.
But that's the impact, and that's how you're going to pay him. What did he get? $5 million?
8. I think it's
$8 million.
8. He
because
got
Tiger
8,
was
Phil
these
got
8
6.
million. Because he needs $8 million more, and not the players that are grinding it out like all over the place.
Well, it's just like law awards, right? Are you in any like statewide organizations where all the old dudes just give each other awards?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's
Mr. Jones,
really funny.
Lifetime Achievement Award. I was just talking to a guy about that because I was talking about doing one for the young lawyers in our personal injury lawyer organization in Florida. And I met with one of our sponsors and I was like, let's give a couple to some young lawyers, and he's like, I know, I'm sick of all the old, and he is an old lawyer. He owns a funding company now, but he's like, let's give a couple awards to the young lawyers because that's how it is in life. I mean, it's how it is. It's like Tiger's going to get these awards until he stops playing. That's just how it's going to be.
And what's funny is, yes, the thing is, Tiger's impact on the golf world has been that significant. This is not to minimize him. He has been inspirational to a lot of people. He's also been controversial, but to be honest, he has done a lot for this sport. And
but why is that the award we're giving? Right? Why is that? It should be like. There should be other qualifications. That's my point for that. He gets rewarded for that. Tiger's the best. He's my favorite golfer of all time. He's a top 5 athlete that I like to watch on TV. I want him to win every tournament he's in. Like, I absolutely love Tiger. But we don't need to create more ways for Tiger to make money, in my opinion, in the PGA Tour. We need to create ways to where it's like, I like the Ironman. Didn't they say Hideki Matsuyama one year played like 45 of the 48 events that they had? He lived in a hotel. We need to give that guy an award and some extra money because that's supporting the PGA Tour playing in all these tournaments, which is why they want to force people to play in the tournaments because it supports the other PGA Tour events.
Yep. And did you see this tweet from Paige Spiranac?
Yeah, doesn't have any legal relevance to this lawsuit, but sure, if you want to call them hypocrites, go ahead and call them hypocrites. It's not that they actually want to play the extra events. I mean, I think we all know that. You can use that if you want, which is fine, but it's not. That's not why. They want to play majors. They want to get the points. They want to prove a point that the PGA Tour can't ban them for life. That's why they're filing the lawsuit. Yeah,
that's the thing that I don't like about the coverage that I'm seeing so far. Am I 100% behind the LIV Golf tournament? No. And also, don't kid yourselves that the PGA Tour takes money from sponsors that have backing from some connection to Saudi or some government you don't like. 1,000,000% guaranteed.
Well, they said 23 of the biggest sponsors of the PGA Tour do billions of dollars of business with the Saudi government.
But do I want to get in that debate? Absolutely not. I didn't care about that. When I was looking at this from the crow's look, like just looking down at it, you're going, these are players, they're contractors, they can do what they want to do. But then when you start to see the games they're playing with, not just the contractors, but with the tournaments, the vendors. I mean, imagine that you're a tent maker. Like you literally are a tent maker and you are a small business and you basically make all of your money in the few tournaments that come through your town. Like in Florida, Peter, you've got to see these things, because you guys have so many tournaments down there that come through. So there's got to be small businesses that specialize in getting the tent set up or the chairs set up or the vendors that come in with the catering, right? Like if you're a caterer, you must make your quarter in that one tournament.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and absolutely.
And if you make a mistake, or if you happen to sign a deal with a player, like you cater a private event for a player who happens to be live, and then PGA Tour revokes your ability to make a quarter's worth of revenue, that's the part that doesn't sit well.
I agree. I don't like the precedent that it sets, because we wouldn't want anybody else to do this. Like, if it's just normal life, we wouldn't want anybody. I mean, we call it tortious interference with contract. That's like what it feels like to me when you know somebody else is going to go work with another company, and you go in and you block it, and you do everything you can to block it. Now, there is an element of, and they're my competitor. If you want to work with my competitor, that's fine. I'm not going to work with you if it was just one thing here, one thing there, but that just doesn't feel like what it is.
It's just different. When I looked at this at first, I was with like 95% of mainstream media looking at this going, you know what? Let them go, cut them off. That's fine. That's not a problem. I had that narrative entirely until I started reading into the positioning and the gamesmanship that started happening. I'm going, this is a little bit of a problem. And then to think back that these guys are 501c3, they are a nonprofit entity that is not taxable as the entity itself. You're going, do we really want this to be how they act?
No way. That's not how and when we look at what the competition's done, the PGA Tour has already given the players more money since LIV Golf has materialized. They've already talked about doing some fun, different kind of team events or exhibition events or no cut events. They've already talked about doing some of that and implementing some of that, because people have liked it. I watched some of the LIV Golf tournament. It wasn't that exciting to me. I don't love the team aspect, if I'm being honest. I don't even really understand it. But change takes time sometimes. It's not like I'm like here loving the way LIV Golf is doing things, but the competition, I think, could make the PGA Tour even better and make them give more money to the players. And that's all competition really does.
Mm-hmm. This is probably the best little thing I've seen come up in a while. Rob Peter to pay Paul. Where's Paul?
That's good.
It's that late that is now freaking hilarious. How was Scotland, by the way?
It was amazing. I went to Scotland like 2 years ago. So those videos were all, or 2019. So those videos and pictures were all from 2019. You thought I was there now?
Where were you playing recently, though?
I went to Michigan recently and played over at Arcadia Bluffs and American Dunes. I got this hat at American Dunes, which was awesome. It was beautiful. The weather was amazing. I don't know what the weather's like there, but it's like 100 degrees there. It was 60 degrees. It was 60 degrees there. Yeah. I mean, it was so nice there. Right off the cliffs. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
All right. Well, let me do this. I'm going to pull up super chats that are dealing with the golf topic so that you can get on your merry way.
I've got about maybe 5 minutes left. I've just posted a video on my channel at 10 o'clock, and I'm in the chat here at the same time. People are like, hey, I'm watching you on Rob's channel and chatting with you on this one. So yeah, I'll get 5 more minutes here of answering questions, and I'll get in that chat.
All right. Nicholas says, yeah, Rob Peter, this is going to be good. Thank you very much. Very appreciate that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Hi, Peter, the lawyer you know. Yes, he is the lawyer we all know.
What's up?
We all know this lawyer. Truth Seeker, Rob, feel the same about MSM information triggers me. Side note, fellow crafter. Yep. Thank you very much. I love the positivity. That's honestly why I like having these things with Peter. Peter's also like good vibes kind of person. He's not doom and gloom. So I can have him on and we can have fun and actually laugh about stuff. Thank you very much for that super chat. Law Patrol. I can't take LIV seriously. It's the acronym for our bar association here. Great comparison to this is Kelly Packer, the World Series cricket versus cricket Australia. More or less the same thing happened. To all the Aussies in the chat, you will probably know what that is. I have no clue. But thanks, Law Patrol.
I literally no clue.
Nice to see you both on tonight. What a nice surprise. Thank you, Peter, for being here. Thank you very much.
It was a surprise. We like doing stuff last minute surprises.
Always. The beard is back on the lawyer you know. Long live the beard.
They've got some real opinions about facial. They're like, ugh, why'd you shave your beard? I'm like, sorry, it'll be back soon.
I get it. Long live the beard. Long live the beard. Let's see if I get another one here. Deep breath, drink water. Stressed? Yes. Sometimes I forget. That actually helps. It's easier when I have someone with me. It's awesome. Colleen, Rob, are you and Peter going to organize a golf event together? I know you mentioned PGA Tour, did you hear what you're saying? Drop the shit. We will give you continuous advice and commentary. Send a sponsorship link.
Dude, this guy got 1 million views on a video, PGA Tour. And just think about how much we'd get if they saw our ugly golf swings.
Ooh, that'd be good. Yep. Event professional here. I've planned golf events. Oh, Sarah, that's really interesting. If you're on Twitter, DM me. I actually want to talk to you about this. That's actually, I would be very curious to hear about that. Paige Goolsby went into flying. Yes, he did fly on my family vacation. He was a single engine pilot. He actually was flying since he was 12 years old. But yeah, it was awesome. I loved him being there. Will you play at Innisbrook? Where's Innisbrook?
It's like 10 minutes from my house. That's where they hold Valspar. So Innisbrook has 4 courses, but really only Copperhead, which is where they play Valspar. That's the nicest course. And for sure we get on there, but my home course at Bel Air is nicer. And they're totally redoing the West course where it's going to have like an island green, looking out into the Gulf of Mexico. It's beautiful. We'd play there if you came, no doubt. But we can't play Innisbrook. If people would rather see Innisbrook, we can do Copperhead.
We're coming into the fall and the winter season. It's like the perfect time to visit Peter. So I think that's going to happen.
Exactly.
Azam, I knew you two would discuss this together. Golf bros. Yep. And we love talking trash to each other. That's like the true golf bro. Like, how trash is your swing right now? And then he sends me a scorecard and I get mad at him.
Listen. I'm going to have to make sure you play enough rounds to get your official GIN handicap index so we can have our handicap index. Oh, no. We can potentially adjust
I'm
after
indexed.
9.
I'm indexed.
Okay, what's your index? What is
15 and a half, 15 and a half.
That's great. That's great. Mine's like an 8.2. So I'll give you 7 strokes. That's fair game.
Oh,
that's
man.
How we do it. That's how we do it.
Are we going to invite chats from bets from the chat?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And at the tips, it's not that long at my home course. I usually get my handicap. There's usually like a 10. So you'd be like 17. So you'd get, we'll give you 7 strokes. We'll give you 7 strokes. We'll figure it out. Well, yeah, if you get right off the plane and we play, I'll give you an extra stroke.
Oh, God, no. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that myself. Sarah, PGA is to live as NFL to XFL. Kind of. But sure. Imagine XFL having $100 billion. If PGA and LIV goes trial, vote Peter and Rob cover it. I'm going to cover the pleadings. I know Peter's going to cover the pleadings. I've already got an alert set on the pacer on this one.
There's a 0% chance it goes to trial. But Agreed. If I'm wrong, I will tell you right now, I'm there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a write-off I'm willing to take. We will play golf in California as we cover the PGA v LIV trial. You can book that one.
Yep. Beard law. Yes.
Right.
It is now beard law. Robin Losey, thank you for super chat. Come to Michigan to play. He just was in Michigan.
I have no idea how close I was to Ann Arbor, but yeah, Michigan golf is awesome. I did not expect it, but it was awesome.
I got to play. Come to Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Nova Scotia's got some nice golf. Is that where Cabot Cliffs is? Is that Nova Scotia? I can't remember. It's Canada. I know it's Canada, but I can't remember exactly where it is. Let me see.
What's it? What's the course at Banff?
Yeah, Cabot Cliffs is in Nova Scotia. I was actually supposed to go there COVID year, and then we got obviously rerouted.
You got COVIDed?
Our trip got canceled because COVID.
Yeah. Love seeing you all together. Can you drop a membership link for us iPhone users, please? I will put that in the description. I will also link Peter's channel in the description below so that you can go check his stuff out. He does a great job at doing these little 1-hour streams during the week. So much more effective at it than I am. Check it out. He's really good at it. And they're great for rewatch because they are these short little 1-hour things. Also, if you didn't check his 100 member subscriber celebration, and Peter, that CNC machine I was showing, that's so that I can mill up those the play buttons.
Dude, my law clerk, who's soon to be associate, told me that we got something wooden at our St. Pete office, and I was like, oh. And he brought it to me, and it was like something else. I was like, oh, no, that's not what I was waiting for. I was like, I can't believe Rob didn't text me. No, but dude, I'm waiting for it. I am waiting for it.
I will text you the CNC, the setup. I want that precision, but yeah.
It will be prominently displayed.
Yeah. I will drop a link, but what I was saying is if you guys haven't checked out his 100 member subscriber celebration, he doesn't just dress up as Captain Jack Sparrow. He dresses up as Captain Jack Sparrow. He is Captain Jack Sparrow in that entire live stream. It's awesome. Go
Thanks
check it
to
out.
subscribers who sent me like a legitimate made for Disney movie costume of Jack Sparrow. So yes, it happened.
Yep.
It did.
Yep. What's this one? My cat's name is Karen. I was a waitress in the grill room of a private men's golf club when I was in high school and college. Got to serve John Daly and met Arnold Palmer. Oh, I bet you've got some stories, honey. Like John Daly and Arnold Palmer. Oh my gosh, that is so freaking awesome.
John Daly used to be a member of Bel Air Country Club before he got kicked out, which is my club. It's hard for a PGA Tour professional to get kicked out of a golf club, but he pushed some limits, man. He pushed some limits.
Do you know what got him kicked out eventually?
I believe it was urinating publicly, like in the middle of the fairway. You know, like we can go to the bathroom on the golf course, nobody cares. But I believe that after multiple warnings, he continued to do that. I don't know that that's true, but he is a partier. Everybody loved him there. Nobody was really happy to see him go. He's a legend around these parts.
I don't know if I'd kick him off for peeing in a fairway.
I that's what I heard. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man.
Either way. All right, let me see this last one here. This while you're here, I use a wheelchair. However, if y'all golf, I'll gladly caddy. If that thing's electric and can roll around, man. Oh yeah, anytime, Sandy, anytime. You let me know. I golf course. So people always laugh at people that golf. Like golf is a 4 to 5 hours, depending on where you're playing. I like to play the 3 hour round, like at 6 a.m, but 4 to 5 hours of complete 100% quality time with the person you're playing with. Like you want to talk about stories you tell, forming bonds. There's a reason golf buddies are like buddies forever, because that is some of the best time you can ever have. So you ever want a caddy, you let me know. I'll take you anytime. All right, buddy. I'll let you get out of here. I'm going to finish the rest of these super chats. Thank you very much for spending some of your Friday night with us. Like, loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. All right, you guys take it easy. Good to see everyone. See you, Rob. Yep.
Well, that was a really, really, really welcome treat. I don't get to talk to Peter enough. Look, if you guys don't know, Peter is a part owner of his law firm. He's a litigator too. So he's got a schedule that's insane. The fact that he can fit those little 1 hour videos in during the week, I don't know how he does it. I want to steal his brain sometimes. Also super nice and one of the best people you're going to have a conversation with, and a great legal mind too. What's funny is, who was it that did all the stitches of all of us together? So during the Depp v. Heard trial, all of us were watching the trial basically on separate channels. Why am I blanking? I know that Law Nerd Clips did it. Chat's going to tell me in a second. But you can see Peter and you can see all of us essentially. Joe Smithy. Yes, I knew the chat would get. You guys are awesome. Joe Smithy does all these little stitches of all the LawTube lawyers that are commenting on all this stuff. And it's amazing because Peter is watching this separately. And it's like we all say the same stuff at the same time. Completely wild. But he's got a great legal mind and he's a great guy too. So give him a follow if you can. It's really awesome. Also, if you guys are still here, if you wouldn't mind, if you hadn't hit the like button, just go ahead and hit it. It really does matter for all of us. It helps push the algorithm so that we don't just drop off into the ether. If you like seeing us talk about this stuff, I'm going to continue doing these streams. I like covering this trial. I like covering all trials. I also like doing all kinds of the woodworking stuff. I'm going to try to mix it up. So I don't really care if the algorithm banishes me to all get out, but I would rather it not, because I like being able to have you guys get notice of when I'm doing these things. So just hit the like on your way out. And if you like the content, hit subscribe. And if you want to see the Peter and Rob golf match, also hit subscribe to his channel and mine, because I'm not sure where we're going to do that, but it needs to happen. And he needs to give me more than 7 strokes. That's not a good enough advantage. He's too good. He's lying to you guys. Adrian Angevine. Oh, Rob, if you have that backwards, if you build it, the cats will come. Ooh, I don't know if I want that many cats. That sounds, I don't know. Aimless Poet, do you think super chats will stop anytime? I don't know. How much are you guys going to, I don't mean to say torture me. You guys are really funny about that. Every time. Oh gosh. I didn't even see that. Clown Simeon. Thank you for that. I don't get to see that on my side here, but thank you. That's awesome. I also am seeing a ton of green in the chat, which means there's a lot of members. And I'll go ahead and pull this one up right now. Can you say hi to David Barry for watching? Hi, David Barry, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Come on back. We've got lots of stuff, and you can go look at old videos, and you can have some fun watching the new stuff. Not going anywhere. Thank you for tuning in. But thank you. But back to you, Aimless Six Poet. I hope to sleep. I need to sleep. I need to make desks. You guys saw the desk that I need to make. That is now, I am now passing a little bit of that responsibility off onto you. If I don't make those desks because you guys keep me up too late. Yeah. And the dining table. Oh, shit. I got to go buy a bunch of white oak tomorrow. All right. Going on. RK. My fave decor is always kid art. I framed lots over the years. Growing up, my creativity wasn't valued. As an adult, I have begun drawing. It helped focus my ADHD and be a calmer human. Yes. That's another great thing. ADHD, great outlet, art. Because you can let your mind escape. Your mind can wander and you can do the art stuff. It's great because it lets you explore stuff and you can find rabbit holes you like. And you also get that little dopamine feed right back into your system. Pick something up and play with the different things you can do. Like you can pick up, like Pam Bystrap, pick up knitting. And I'm sorry to hear about your husband. Yeah. And I hope that all is well with you and your family. Cancer is, can we all just say fuck cancer? Yep. Fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. Right in the fuckery. That's probably as many F's as I can get in a sentence. F cancer. Good way to heal. Good way to deal with it, though. The knitting. That was the woodworking. I threw myself into the woodworking when my dad got cancer. Like it was important to me. But that outlet, man, having that outlet when you're going through a tough time is a massive, massive thing. So, Fox Project, you could buy a new tool each time you reach a subscriber milestone. Huh. I don't like promoting myself though, and I like buying new tools. Maybe. Because if I restrict myself on like not allowing myself to get a new tool until I hit a subscriber milestone, that might make me depressed. But I like the idea. Maybe big tools. Like I'll basically say, I want to upgrade a tool. And if I hit this, I will actually go through and upgrade it. So I like that idea. Hemplin TX, thank you very, very much for that generous super chat. I'm curious to see you learn and do things on this CNC. The closest my hubby and I ever came to splitting up was when he bought his first used CNC 4 years ago. I was trying to figure it out. I tried to help him get the software side of it. Oh, man. I imagine there's going to be a lot of curse words tomorrow. Just so many curse words. Yeah. I don't like the software side of it is something that's different. Like I can do the woodworking with the hand tools and I'm comfortable with that. Teaching a machine to do something and having the machine do it the way you taught it. Yeah, a lot of yelling. It's going to be a lot of yelling. Barney Cat. I'm indigenous, by the way. Very excited to help my people. That is amazing, Barney Cat. One, still waiting on those bar results. We're going to get you there. You're going to pass it. It's going to be awesome. And then we're going to get you practicing right away. And yes, awesome. Indigenous tribes need a ton of legal help. They do. Especially in the US. It's just really, really, it's a hard situation for some people to be in. And I'm trying to say this sensitively. The U.S. government thought by a long time ago by just giving them money. That was it. That was all you had to do. Kind of let them down a lot by doing that. And there's a lot of corruption, not nice things, and a lot of people in those communities that need a lot of help. Legal, socioeconomic, educationally, like systemic things. There are larger tribes that do great, and then there are smaller tribes that don't do as well. So I'm very, very glad that you are entering the fray and that you're aiming at helping out that community. That's awesome. I love it. Amy Richter, thank you for the super chat. My dad has a sawmill and lathe made my kids a crib. I need a lathe. That's my next tool. I need a lathe. Thanks for the reminder, but I need a lathe. Aimless Six Poet. Rob, don't buy a Glowforge. Save for a better laser. Thank you. I've actually heard that comment. The Glowforge is great, but I've also heard that if you are going to go that route, you might want to consider a different route. That makes sense. I think so. Grace Cat Queen. If you ever get down to Tallahassee, Florida, my husband and I would be happy to give you carte blanche of our cat house, room, board, transportation, so you can teach us how to improve our cat home. Be forewarned, we have a lot of cats. Crazy Cat Queen, your name is Crazy Cat Queen. I have no doubt that there are a bunch of cats. How about this? If I make Tallahassee, some drinks, and I'll bring a starter kit for the cat home. That work? I think that works. I'm 20 in my mind. Me too, honey. Me too. Your dad's table sounds amazing. Thank you for all you do and for attempting to channel Emily. It's not really an attempt, honestly. It's kind of just me pretending like I have a friend here that's talking to me. I mean, you guys are all here. You guys are my friends. But yeah. Lawyer, you know. Oh, interesting, because we just saw him. I thought we just saw him. We did. Haven't heard Liv talk yet. You ready? Yeah, I was. Guess I should have better eyes on the chat when these are coming in. But he came in and you guys got to hang out with him. That's awesome. Irish Rower. In 8th grade woodshop class, my mom built a pendulum clock. It still hangs in her kitchen and works. Probably needs a new movement after 30 years. Wow, that is awesome. Dude, well-made furniture will last a lifetime. You don't believe me? Go look at some of the European craftsmanship, or there's an Australian Australian woodworker who does some of the largest pieces and desks of old Victorian style that are probably some of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to start posting links to this stuff so you guys can see it when I'm trying to talk about it, so that what I'm seeing in my brain, you guys can see like visually. Maybe Vasquez, thank you for that super sticker. Thank you very much. LJ May, thank you for the super chat. Got here late, but want to say hi. My husband's a woodworker also. Yes, I love it. Thank you. Kel Marie, I'm the person who asked you why so serious yesterday. I asked because you actually looked upset at the start of EH's live stream. I should have added that context. I'm very sorry if the question seemed flippant. It didn't seem flippant. It really doesn't. And that's the thing. That's one of the things that you guys, we read these things. I don't take offense by anything you guys say, because I know you guys are here to give support and you do it lovingly. Even when you do it, you're teasing. I completely understand and appreciate all of it. So no, it was awesome. I love that you got to see it in person. So thank you. Eve Lexi, I volunteer as a tribute for the Cat Trees model. I have 3 senior citizens and 1 is 4 months old. Thank you, Eve. T in Tennessee. I've gotten crazy Twitter emails as well. Just kind of feel like giving someone else a break. Mandy Stevens, thank you for keeping me company as I make costumes for our school production of Spam-A-Lot. Ooh, you guys didn't think I knew about Monty Python. I do know about Spam-A-Lot. So, and I know, yeah. Yeah. Where's Emily where I can like actually call that out and say I know what we're talking about now? Yeah. All right. Kristen M, 96. We need a Rob Botfer member emoji. You got it. Next week, I'll get it out. I like that idea a lot. Beats Kill Bean. Oh, I have to get Eric's permission to use that image because he made it, but I'll get it out. Beats Kill Bean. Thank you for the super chat. My father used to make the hand planes, hollows and rounds and chisels for carpenters at Colonial Williamsburg. Sawdust is my favorite smell. Oh my gosh. Your dad probably had the coolest stories ever. That's so freaking awesome. Married to the Sea. Thank you both. That's to you, Tish, too. I assure him one reason I fell in love with him is how he talks about work. I'm a developer and love learning about his world and more. That is a very important thing. And I seriously wish you all of the best, 100%. Don't change him. Don't let him change you. Just love him for who he is, and hopefully he loves you the same way. Sheena Farrow, thank you for that super chat. C. Adams, you, Runkle, Emily are truly a special breed, all helping me at 60 plus, new diagnosis of ADHD projects, more. Please, doing an amazing job. You guys didn't get a lot of ADHD content tonight. You kind of did, in that I was able to navigate back without getting too distracted. It was a good day. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not as tired as I was all week. When I'm tired, it gets, you guys probably know this too. When you're tired, here's an ADHD thing. Do you know that people with like super bad ADHD, when they drink a Red Bull after they're really stressed and tired, it actually puts them to sleep? Little facts, little things you learn. Because the Red Bull, the caffeine actually fills the dopamine receptors that they have been craving, which is part of the thing that leads to their exhaustion. So when they have that Red Bull, it fills the dopamine receptors and it lets their brain calm down for the first time in like a day or two. And when the Red Bull hits, the caffeine hits, their brain stops talking to them and they can finally sleep. Little facts. Mom. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Being in crisis management, I can relate to needing projects for mental health. My side hustle is silversmithing and glass blowing, two remarkable art trades, and that is awesome. And I hope that caricature right there is something that you made, because that's really cool. Missy Jade, thank you for that super chat. Howdy, I love your resin piece you did. I'm a fluid artist, which saves me from my trauma. I'm sorry you went through that. I am happy you have that outlet. I have yet to post a piece, but you have me inspired. Thanks for all you do to help the true survivors. Let me give you a tip, Missy. If you're nervous about posting that piece, I am happy if you want to send that to me on Instagram. Just DM it to me. And I'm pretty sure if you love what you do, it's going to be worth the post. So don't worry about it. Post it. You love what you do it. Chesney Michael. I ain't going to butcher these names. I'm so sorry. Chesney Michael. Mile. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. I'm trying very hard. No, how could you? I craft in fiber art. So when you mentioned Intarsia, I had to go check it out. Now my ADHD has me falling down a whole new bunny trail of beautiful inspiration. Here's a tip, Chesney. If you want to go down that bunny hole of inspiration, I told you about Raymond Valdez. Look him up, Raymond Valdez. He actually teaches an introductory Intarsia class. He teaches it and he does it via remote learning and Zoom. And he sends you the kit with all of the different pieces of not laminate. It's late. Brain function. Come on. What's the word? All of the very thin material that we use to make that, the thin material that we adhere to wood. Why isn't it there? No, it's thin wood material. Here. Veneer, V-E-N-E-E-R, veneer, wood veneer. I went to go reach for it, and I got it. Yes. He sends you the wood veneer pieces you need with the kit, and he walks you through how to do a very introductory piece. I think he charges like $100 for that class, but it's honestly pretty cool. I've seen it. I actually want to take it. But yeah, so check him out. Ms. Deed, you make everything so much more fun. Thank you. That's awesome. That actually makes me feel really good. Thank you. Stacy Walpole, 7 strokes. Golf strokes, honey. Golf strokes. Oh my. And don't worry. I have enough golf strokes to fill up the freaking card. It's not a good thing either when you're talking about golf. Remember, golf, high strokes bad, low strokes good. Way to derail us. But in a good way. That's funny. I like it. I take the humor. Lori Leanning, take us in the basement and stream the desk build. I'll get you there. Don't worry. We'll figure it out. My cat's name is Karen. He was drunk. LOL. Oh, no. I'm going to forget what the previous chat was. What was the previous chat? I'm going to forget that one. I don't want to forget that one. Well, someone was drunk. Drunk people are funny. Not all of them. Some are really. Oh, John Daly. John Daly was drunk. Yes, John Daly was always drunk. No, he wasn't. John Daly could probably drink more booze than you could possibly imagine. That man, I think he did a quote once. Said, "What's your perfect round of golf?" He says, "A 30 pack and a pack of cigarettes." He would down a whole 30 case of beer in a round, and he would smoke a whole pack of cigarettes. That man gave 0 fucks. Gives 0 fucks. He still gives 0 fucks. I think he still plays golf barefoot. There's videos of him playing golf barefoot. 0 fucks. Claude Simeon, pick my cocktail base: gin, vodka, rye, cognac, or tequila. Ooh, if we're talking about a base to a cocktail, one, cognac doesn't make I don't like cognac as a base. Cognac is a finisher, and cognac should stand alone by itself. Tequila makes a decent base, but it depends on what else you have. I would go with the classics of gin or vodka, unless you've got some orange peel lying around. Then I go with the rye, and I would do an old fashioned. Did that help? I hope it helped. Michelle Neff, love listening. Thank you for that super chat very much. T in Tennessee, if you figure out how sleep works, let me know. Oh no, Tish, we're gonna have to figure that one out. I don't know if I can. I will eventually, sometimes, at one point. By the way, my grand girl Hannah watches you and just signed up for 3 AP courses at JROTC High School Freshman Legal. Legal B is her hero. Or Legal Bites is her hero, but she loves you. She wants to be a lawyer. Good for her. You know what? Good for her. Have her keep watching. You know what? We'll give her the ins and outs, but also, if she likes to do the crafty stuff, keep her doing the crafty stuff. Give her the outlet. Give her the education. Let her take her path. It's a really cool path, and there's a lot of rewarding. There's a lot of rewards that you can get from that. Jackie, DBD Stitchart. Love your workshop. My dad's an aerospace engineer, built me huge bookcases when I was in high school. Yeah, those guys, aerospace engineers, that's awesome. Huge bookcases. I can see that happening. Also really cool. Lynn, hubby and I will be assembling a massive craft cabinet. We expect words during and drinks after each day of assembly. Yeah. Husbands and wives in the shop. Husbands and husbands, wives and wives. I don't care. Significant others together in the shop. Opinions. People have opinions. Lots of them. Yeah. Best of luck. Look, enjoy it. At the end of the day, you love each other. Remind yourself you love each other. It's just building something. You'll be just fine. Melissa Smock, build a TARDIS. Doctor Who. Oh my gosh. So you guys are not the only. No one's going to let me live that freaking down. Doctor Who stuff. No one's going to let me live that down. I'm never going to live it down. You guys are going to bother me. I'm gonna. You know what? Problem is, if I start watching it, I'm going to binge it. If I binge it, then I won't get anything done. So what do you want me to do? You want me to get stuff done, or you want to watch Doctor Who? TARDIS. All right. We're coming to land this plane. My dad was a pilot, woodworker, and passed from cancer, but his table maybe. Oh. I'll teach art to middle schoolers. Thank you, Judy. May he rest in peace. It's wonderful. Yeah, I got to make it through these quick. Okay. Thank you, Judy. Cameron, hey, Rob, have you ever worked with Purple Heart or any other exotic wood? Yes, Purple Heart I have worked with. I have it. It ultimately turns brown in the end, but I have worked with it. It's a beautiful wood. It really is. We have a beagle that loves his cat tree. I like that. That's awesome. Ms. Deed, I appreciate your response on Eric's channel yesterday. The 7-year thing really triggered me. Thank you. Yeah, it was important to give context to that discussion. Yeah. At 14, I took a work class, made a cutting board that's still used, and I'm 31. Making something yourself does last a long time. It's beautiful. That is amazing. Abby, adorable. I love seeing that. Catchy Crafts. My boyfriend's a guitarist, luthier, woodworker. My apartment's filled with creations. He even makes displays for my craft fairs. Send me those projects too, honey. I love it. Stacy Walpole. Oh my God. Yes, I know you did. I know you did. I know you did. I'm just teasing you. Midnight Dreary, friendly reminder to hydrate. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I'm landing this plane. I'm going to end it before you guys do any more damage. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. It is awesome. You guys have a great weekend. I will be in touch this weekend. I'll try to get you on a stream, and I'll try to give you guys content about the desk build. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Friday. Of course, it happened. Catherine of Aragon. Hi from Darwin, Australia. Dining Table Mahogany. Oh, you guys. Ripped 100 trees about 4 years ago. Best wishes. Thank you so much. That Sarah showed up late because of ADHD hyperfocus project. Thank you so much. All of you guys, amazing. Runkle could watch Doctor Who and get stuff done. He probably could. Emily has cats. Yes, they do. All right, I am ending the stream. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Go make something. Go have fun in the shop. Get outside, touch some grass, and go build something. Go be awesome and enjoy yourselves. Good night, guys. I'll talk to you later.